If you see...
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Mike Hanlon.
Pennywise? More like Penny fucking stupid idiot. Am I right?
Ew.
This is Spoilers. Got him. It's a good one, right?
That was one of the best dad jokes I've ever heard.
Dunked on Pennywise.
Hello and welcome to Spooky Spoilers. I'm your host, Korey, the dancing clown. And you are Georgie.
So now we know each other.
No, I'm Korey with Kylo Ren memes. And I'm hosting this episode of Spooky Spoilers 2020, our first one of this year. And we're here to talk about the 1990 miniseries, It, or Stephen King's It, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. But let's get some proper introductions of our many co-hosts we have here. So we're going to go west to east. What is your name? What is your quest? And who is your favorite clown? We're talking clowns today. Go ahead, Pappy.
Okay.
Monty Python.
My name is Pappy. I'm calling from Louisville, Colorado. Do you want to answer on the quest thing?
Yes.
My quest is to beat your co-host Steve in an upcoming film debate. We're ironing out the details. I'm tired of him besmirching one of our national treasures. I won't say anything else, but I'm gonna kick his ass. And my
is it Star Wars?
No, I don't want to reveal the topic yet. It's still being negotiated. But what was the last part, Korey? My favorite clown?
Yeah.
I don't. A lot of people have a lot of different relationships with their dads. I haven't never talked to my dad about this, but apparently he was one of the understudies to Bozo, like the third or fourth in line to beat Bozo.
No, this is just the plot of Honey Boy. Sorry.
No.
Again.
I swear to Christ. He has pictures of it too, but we never talked about it, so I don't know what that means. But I guess Bozo for my pops.
I'll go next. Mikey, recording from Goshen, Indiana. My quest? I'm just here to crack some jokes. I just get into it. But, my favorite clown, probably Crazy Joe Davola from Seinfeld.
Oh my god, that's so good. Pagliacci.
Great callback.
Just an absolute psycho, like all clowns usually are. So, he's probably my favorite. Funny episode, too.
They are. How does that work? Just ends up being that way, I guess.
Just attracts the personality type.
Love you, Dad.
Hey, it's me, Josh from Goshen. Penny, because I'm wise. I would say my quest is... Man, can we edit and deliver that again? Just joking.
Please don't ever say that again.
My favorite clown growing up was Bozo himself, but not to pull a Brett, but Frank Averick died in 2018 after a long fight.
But did he kill himself?
Against heart disease. But the reason I made that that Jim Carrey joke a second ago is because I did just host Ace Ventura. So if you're listening to this, maybe you could go back and listen to our Ace Ventura episode.
Don't stop listening to my episode to listen to Josh's episode. Listen to it after.
Yeah, just press pause. You can come back to this.
Josh, what's your quest?
I guess my quest is to get my daughter's soccer team. I'm the coach. She's in first grade soccer. We got to get that team into first place so I can have the bye and don't have to miss my brother's wedding to coach the game. Breaking news on spoilers. Brother Jordan's wedding is coming up soon, and it's also the first round of the tournament.
And you, the listeners, are all invited.
Am I next?
I think so.
Okay. This is Stevie recording from Elkhart, Indiana. Kylo, do you want me to say my quest in life, my quest for the pod? What do you want here? What kind of quest do you want me to say?
I know you're a man of many quests, so you can pick any of them. I'm totally fine with whatever you got.
Okay. Man, oh man. My quest is to see my daughter be born it's like a month right now. Cutting super close here. And then also witness Notre Dame win a national title this season. So Yeah, those are two awesome quests. And favorite clown has to be Chuckles from Toy Story 3. When they kind of show his face and lightning strikes on it, it's hysterical. So yeah, that's my favorite clown.
Okay, this is Brett recording from Fort Wayne, Indiana. My quest is to seek the Holy Grail.
Good man.
And I have a question for you. What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
What do you mean? African or European swallow?
Well, I don't know. Okay. What's next? Oh, I'm going to say 2 because I'm going to pull a Brett. I love Pennywise. I'm fascinated by Pennywise, even though he's not really a clown. And I loved Homie the clown growing up. If you've ever seen it in living color.
That's a good clown.
Homie, don't play that.
Very good. Like I mentioned, we're here to talk about it, but before we go into the movie itself, and thank you all for your wonderful intros, Brett, I'm sure you're very anxious to do this, so why don't you just check them off the list, go through the actors that died in this movie. Go ahead.
Oh, man, so many. Okay.
Well, John Ritter comes to mind, clearly.
Jonathan Brandis killed himself in 2002 or 3. It was a sad one. John Ritter died of a massive heart attack or whatever in 2006-ish.
Also 3.
Harry Anderson just died, man. I love Harry Anderson from Night Court. He just died a year or 2 ago. Is that it?
Seth Green. Poor Seth Green.
His career just died. Seth didn't. His career just did.
As long as Family Guy is going on, he's going to have
Is that
money.
still going? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
I think that's about it.
I mean, he's up there with our podcast. Like, somewhere there's like spoilers, and then there's Seth Green's career. They're kind of like, running alongside parallel lines there.
We make the same amount of money, too.
We really do.
We have the same kind of contracts.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a movie that well, I guess it's not a movie. It's a miniseries. It's a TV miniseries. I always considered it a movie as a young man. You guys approved me doing this episode, doing this particular pick, that is. Except for Brett. But everyone else approved it. Brett, yeah, I know you were excited when I picked this.
I didn't say you. You're just saying I didn't do it because I wasn't there when you discussed it. I don't have a problem with you doing it.
I wasn't there either.
I love the lore of it. I love Stephen King.
I believe Korey took a vote when it was just him on the Skype call.
Yeah.
And he approved
All in
it.
favor?
It was unanimous.
Did he have a quorum?
It was just me. I was like Milton, just kind of mumbling to myself. Yeah.
You really are breaking new ground here, because I think this is only the second TV movie we've done behind the Star Wars Holiday Special. So, in good company.
Oh my God.
A lot to live up to.
But which one is better? I think maybe we'll answer that question somewhere along the way. Star Wars Holiday Special or the It miniseries. But like I was saying before, this, I'm going to call it a movie, bounces between 2 time periods. We got 1960 and 1990, and the movie's intercut with these 2 time periods. It's like Christopher Nolan style, I'd say. So it starts off in 1990, modern day. Let's go with Pappy. Why don't you take it over and introduce us to what happens at the beginning and what that inciting event kind of leads to.
I read the book, and I don't remember how the book begins. Does the book begin with Richie's murder like the movie does, too?
The book begins kind of like the, I think It Chapter
Georgie,
2, the 2019 version.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because this is like another child murder. And I don't remember this from the book at all, but it's a nice, sunny Maine day, like you said, in the 90s. Riding her tricycle around, a little girl, tons of freckles. And then Pennywise just appears in the dryers. And, we're very limited in terms of what we see in violence. And a lot of violence in this movie is conveyed by, like, zooming in on someone's face, like, really quick, then doing a cut to, like, someplace else. And that's what happens to the little girl. And mom's devastated. And we're starting the investigation of what's going on here. Is it back?
That's weird to hear a long Stevie sigh, like he just wants to see a little girl's limbs ripped off on screen, I guess, to make him happy.
Give him a break. He's not a dad yet, like us, Josh.
I'm not a dad yet, you're right. So, I mean, cut me some slack here, but you're right. Everything that would be violence is just... Oh, that zoom in and then like the black fade out, which you could tell was put in there for commercial breaks. And it's really strange to watch it. Like they didn't edit it in a different way for like the DVD. It's just, you're like, oh, here comes the commercial. And I imagine like there's some horrendous KFC commercial right on the back of it. I don't know. It's just tough to watch.
Hey there, this is your Colonel talking. Now I got something here that's downright fun. My new popcorn chicken. Crunchy morsels.
Well, I was gonna say, like, how many like times has it been consumed on someone's like recording, like at home? And so like after those zoom-ins, there's like 2 seconds of like a Toys R Us commercial that blares way too loud, and they have to pause the recording and re-hit it again.
Stevie, you were just saying in a recent episode that you like cuts like that because it leaves it to the imagination. And I thought...
Which episode did I say that in?
I think it was Lovecraft Country.
I said that?
Yeah, you said you appreciated the cutting, like when they went from the bus to like just
okay,
walking.
I'm talking about smart cutting because they conveyed language without speaking. This is just saying we can't show it, but here's like a 90s guitar playing in the background as we fade out. It's different.
Okay, well, Brett, I'm going to kick it over to you. Why don't you tell us about what this kind of leads to? The kid's death and Mike Hanlon and Bill.
The first kid, I zoned out a little bit. Have you already talked about Georgie or?
Brett, stop watching football.
Actually, I was reading some stuff.
I was reading a novel.
I was reading it. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, but you were talking about Mike Hanlon, right? He's digging around or whatever. And yeah, so he starts calling people. And the first person he calls is Bill, I believe, right? Correct?
I love that he's just hanging around the murder scene. Like, hey, what you got for me?
I'm Sleuth Mike. What's happening?
I'm just a town librarian, just on the case.
Looking for Tia and Tamara Mowry.
He's almost literally the only person who knows about Pennywise in the town, except for all the old people, but they don't talk about it. So yeah, he calls Bill, and this is a common theme when he calls people. They don't know who he is right away. They don't remember Derry, and they get super scared, and then they do these flashbacks to each occurrence that they had. There was just a little snippet of story with Bill. It was Georgie, his little brother Georgie, went out and played with the world's most boring boat. and then he comes up, it goes down a storm drain, and all of a sudden Pennywise is there.
Brett, it was 1960. They didn't have Game Boy like they do now, okay?
Yeah, life sucked back then, man. It's not awesome like it is now.
Definitely, I agree. And, he's just like, do you want a balloon?
Exactly. Go on, kiddo. Take it. Oh, you want it, don't you, Georgie? Oh, of course you do. And there's cotton candy and rides and all sorts of surprises down here. And balloons, too. All colors.
Do they float?
Oh, yes. They float, Georgie. They float. And when you're down here with me, you float too!
Hey, you Georgie.
This is my first viewing of anything It. Is this the most famous image from it?
Definitely.
Him in the sewer drain. That's what I remember, yeah.
And it was used extensively in the marketing of the movies too that came out recently. It's when I think It, I pretty much think of this scene.
Josh, what did you think as a first-time viewer, as in terms of seeing the big scene from It?
Could take it or leave it. Honestly, I don't want to come off negative. I really enjoyed this, but that particular scene, I guess it's creepy, but it's not any more creepy than the girl on the tricycle, and then you come out and the wheels just slowly rotating. So I don't know. There's a lot of iconic stuff from this, but I do feel that is the number one in my mind. But not to leave out Jonathan Brandis completely here. He has one more little snippet where he's like opening the book of Georgie's like past, the photography, and like blood starts coming out of the book. Like his little brother who's dead winks at him, Harry Potter style.
I really like that part. I think it's really cool how like it looks like a still photo and then it moves. Like, you know, they had the kids like perfectly still.
It's really cool. It looks good too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The blood looks like ketchup, but
I think they used half their budget on that picture.
They had deep fakes in 1990.
It doesn't matter what's coming out of the book. If it's ketchup, if it's blood, like that's got to scare the shit out of you. Anything coming out of a book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be thinking about hepatitis and stuff with all that blood.
I'd be looking for some fries. Gotta clean up all that ketchup.
What would be perfect is if they went to a commercial after the blood came out and McDonald's was on like right after it. That's perfect marketing right there.
His parents are huge assholes in that scene, though. They're like, stay out of your dead brother's room. I don't want to hear it. Like, maybe the kid's upset. Like, he's crying in his dead brother's room. They're just like, get the fuck out of here. It's really cold.
I mean, they're probably even worse in the book. They're like catatonic in the book. They don't pay him any notice until they move.
It's like what Stevie said. Like, I mean, this is a 1990 movie, but 80s parents, right?
They're awesome? The worst. 80s parents were I mean, they were like 80s parents are just trying to raise sociopaths like from the jump.
Drinking raw eggs and orange juice.
This is 1990, right? 91?
90. It came out, so it was probably filmed late 80s.
Yeah, they're trying to carry that torch hard in this movie, which I kind of appreciate.
Stevie, why don't you lead us into, I guess we can kind of go in whatever direction we want. Like I said, it's a lot of Mike Hanlon calling his old former childhood friends. And then it's
so strange they keep at it. They keep doing the, hey, it's Mike. Who? It's Mike. Then they do this long, like, distant stare for 5 seconds. It's so strange how they couldn't find anything new to do between scenes. But this movie, like, if you watch it as an adult, is eerily like the adults of this town, which is you vaguely remember what happened, but you also forget a lot. Because it bounces around so much. But do you want me to talk about when he calls Bill?
We covered Bill. Why don't you do John Ritter? What's he about?
All right, well, Bill's wife or girlfriend had the worst accent in the world.
At least when you're doing a novel, you're in a good mood.
But, okay, so John Ritter is supposed to be hot stuff. He is Time Magazine's new architects. He is high on life. I have to imagine he's betting a different woman every night with the attitude that he carries. He also lives in the most 80s apartment known to man.
Light up t-shirt lights. It's like a suit that like lights up.
Oh,
on his
yeah.
wall.
He has incredibly bad taste.
He, for an architect, has the worst taste. Like, I can't imagine what buildings he was designing and what they look like. I have to imagine they were atrocious. But, let's see here. Ben used to be the fat kid on the block. He used to be husky. I mean, I wouldn't even call him obese. I would just say he was husky. And he never really got rid of that. Like in the new movie, he had a 12-pack and was jacked.
It was the most ridiculous transformation of
all time. It was ridiculous, to say the least. That dude was a model. In this one, he's still carrying some husk, but he feels better about it. So he's made some changes in his life.
I love your body.
Oh, I like yours too.
Would you believe I used to be fat?
I bet you were real cute.
No, not just fat, but a regular butterball. You bet your fern I was. We used to say that as kids. You bet your fern. But I was F-A-T.
No.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, he's super confident, has tons of swagger, and then he gets that call. And he contemplates suicide, and he runs back his entire life in Derry. This is pretty much like the format for the entire time.
Yeah, this is definitely all of part one. He remembers being a kid, and he was like the new kid in town, and he was like getting bullied a lot by the like the local doo-wop group.
Hey, look, kids, it's the 50s doo-wop group. What? No, we're not a 50s doo-wop group. Hey, listen, would you sing us a song? We don't sing, guy. Oh, yeah, we do. We'll sing. We'll sing for you. Right, boys? You guys sing?
Were doo-wop groups bullies? Is that a thing?
These are greasers. They're not doo-woppers. Greasers are bullies.
Yeah, he's getting bullied by the T-Birds, but he does eventually make some friends and stuff. Mikey, do you want to tell us about like Henry Bowers and his gang of cronies?
Belgian Vic.
He's just a piece of shit. He goes around and he harasses everybody that we follow throughout this story.
Well, what do you know? It's the fat boy, the Jew, and the sissy. 4 eyes and the patch girl, too. Nigger, you know how to pick 'em. It's the Losers Club. yeah, the Losers Club.
He's got really greasy hair, and I don't know. He doesn't really have too much going on for himself in this story, and he's just kind of an antagonist to the kids.
He says some pretty cool like zingers.
Does he?
Like, I mean, obviously he does like some psychotic shit.
He's got to get some new material.
Well, he says things like, "I'm gonna pull your ears down and tie them underneath your chin." He's like, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He's got a classic 90s henchman. Belch is actually his name in IMDb, played by Chris Eastman. He just burps every scene he's in.
Brett, did Chris Eastman kill himself?
Brett?
I don't know.
I was waiting for Brett to come out. Well, Chris Eastman actually hung himself 3 years ago.
Well, no picture on IMDb. It doesn't look good for him.
Oof. It's a bad sign.
What we see with the kids is that a lot of them, when they remember being in Derry, it kind of starts off like, okay, I lived in this town, I had some friends, maybe I was picked on, but, things were not too bad. But then they remember, like, a big moment where Pennywise, I guess, just fucked with them, because that's kind of what he's about in the first half of this. He's just, like, fucking with the kids. You hear that he's killed some other kids, and then there's the Georgie scene, but with our main group, he doesn't really do too much other than maybe, like, get in their heads a little bit. Pappy, do you remember what he does with Ben?
Multiple kids of the Losers Club have lost a parent. Ben lost his dad in Korea. I guess he was a fighter pilot and he got shot down. Ben later talks about how he wants to be a fighter pilot when he grows up, and obviously he changes as he gets older. But yeah, he sees his dad by the creepiest looking. I don't even know what it is. It's like a castle in the. Is it like the sewer complex? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's like just a utility building to like the sewer or something. It's just like an entryway, and it's just made out of bricks.
It's where the Bowers family lives.
For some reason, It does look like a castle.
It looks like the Bowers family country home, for sure. But yeah, it's like in the middle of this bog.
Hi, Ben.
Daddy?
That's my home now, son.
You want a balloon, Ben?
They float.
They all float.
Come here, son. You'll like it down there.
You'll never have to grow up.
One thing I will say about that I really did like, Korey, is it does have a lot of I don't know exactly what the practical effects were, but they're very Army of Darkness esque, and the skeleton that pops out of the water at the end. I don't even remember what he says to him, but he looks very Army of Darkness esque, and there's kind of this puppeteery motions to him, and you see that thing again too, when it's Eddie and Pennywise rips up the floor or whatever. I do like when this movie gets into those kind of special effects.
Yeah, the skeleton was always funny to me, just because when it talks, the words don't match at all.
They all float. And when you're down here with me, fat boy, you float too.
It doesn't look good, but I mean, it's a nice, it's a practical effect. I appreciate.
Pappy appreciates the effort.
I do.
Brett, you're a happily married man, are you not?
Yes, I am very happily married.
Not when his podcasts go too long, though.
Jesus. What do you think about about Bev's life, her love life, and her marriage? And why don't you tell us what's going on with her?
Yeah, first of all, I got to point out that this is Belch, Chris Eastman. He's in the 2 Movie Club. So show some respect for him.
What is he in?
What is he in the other one?
He's the main douchebag bully in the Never-Ending Story.
No.
One note.
He really got typecasted.
Oh, yeah.
His name in that is Queef.
No, it's actually First Bully, but his first acting name was Drum.
Oh, my bad.
Oh my God, Josh.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, Drum Garrett. So Beverly in this miniseries, she's dating her business partner. I don't believe they're married in the miniseries, but he's an abusive a-hole who bosses her around and beats her, and that's about it. She's pretty miserable. I don't know if you noticed, they mention it. Everyone who left Derry is all successful, and they all, I think in the book, they mentions that they all make like over 80 grand, which in the 80s is, a lot of money. So they're all well off, and she is as well, and she's just in a terrible, terrible spot in her life. And this might end up being like the best thing that happens to her going back to this, but...
You read the book, right, Brett?
Yeah, I have.
I when I read the book, I did not picture that, like, her husband being like this, like, clean cut guy. Like, I don't know why.
No, I don't. Do they even work together? And they were actually married in the book, and he was like way worse.
He's way worse. He's like more semi-involved. Like, I think he's like more of a drunk too. That's like a big part of it. Like, it's mirroring her dad is like the big thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something else. I guess I should mention that her dad. They don't really touch on it much in this miniseries, but he's a creep too. Alcoholic. Abusive. I mean, he's actually pretty nice to her sometimes, but he's just really creepy, and he's just a kind of a creepy old alcoholic douchebag, just like the person she ends up with. So
the husband's biggest offense is his mullet. It's just
I think that's his
aggressive.
biggest pro.
Yeah, it's his biggest pro.
It is so thick in the back and greasy.
It's healthy.
It is very full.
Like, I have never read the book, Brett, but having just watched this, I definitely picked up on, like, history repeating itself from the father to her relationship. So at least they pulled that off here.
Yep.
She has a couple things in her, like, flashbacks. The big, like, Pennywise moment is when she's in the bathroom and, like, the balloon comes up out of the drain and kind of, like, squirts blood everywhere. But, man, I hadn't seen this in a little while, and compared to the new movie, it's really not that much of a mess, right? I mean, it's just kind of like a little tiny pop in the sink.
Yeah, it's everywhere in the movie and the book, the other movie. So, yeah, it's like all over the place.
So, Brett, could you explain this to me? Like, Brandis has a throwaway line where he says the parents can't see it because they don't believe in it. Is something cheesy like that what going on when everyone, like, sees blood, but, like, the parents seem to ignore it and, like, even wipe it on their kids' faces?
Yeah, actually, I mean, well, I would say that's more of Pennywise's magic, his powers, but yeah, the adults, he doesn't pay much attention to the adults because he said they're hard, they're full, they don't really believe in him, so his power's kind of gone with them. He's kind of like a Jedi. I mean, like, he could deal with weak-minded adults better. But other than that, yeah, I mean, like, in the book, the only people that know about him are, like, really old, retired cops. And they, like, just flat out won't talk about it.
Pennywise, like a Jedi. That was my thought, yeah.
He likes to kill all the younglings.
You guys talking about that clown that eats kids? I know all about him.
They do. I think that's almost verbatim of what they say in the book, Mikey.
Hey, Johnson, this kid's talking about Pennywise.
Because Mike Hanlon goes and, like, interviews all these old cops that are, like, either in the hospital or whatever, and they're, like, almost, like, they say, like, you talk about that clown who likes to eat kids. I mean, it's, like, very similar to that, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the guy.
No, different clown, sorry.
Gacy? No, the local one. The local guy. Josh, the kids' story is the main focus of the chapter 1 part of this. They have some camaraderie, and they, like, build a dam, and they have some, like, I don't know, like, kid goofing about. What did you think about that? Were you buying it, or Was the acting getting in the way of that for you?
I think I liked maybe Ben the most, the child actor who played him, just like his looks and mannerisms and stuff. But honestly, Korey, I was into this, and it might have been my favorite parts of the movie. The kids like dinking around, their high school class, the bullying scenes, just seeing these young actors like try to deliver all their different idiosyncrasies that they have. Like, it's kind of a cliche movie in that each child had, whether it's like finger biting or ear pulling or I don't know. What are some other ones that they have? Like the stuttering, I guess, with Jonathan Brandis. They all have like their own little thing that they have to try to pull off, and it's fun. I'm not going to say it's like the best acting of all time, Korey, but I did like these set pieces.
Richie Toge is my name. And doing voices is my game. This is Stan the Man Uris. Stanny's a Jew, which means he's really smart and says oi a lot.
Richie's got a high metabolism and tends to make him hyperactive.
So you, haystack. What, are you building a dam or something?
Yeah.
You ever built one before?
No.
How do you know it'll work?
Well, of course it will. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, but how do you know?
I just know. Yeah, he just knows.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Great music during the damn scene, too. It's Alright by the Impressions. One of the best songs ever.
That like corny feel-good song?
It's alright. That's what they do.
Oh, why were they building a dam? Just to make a pool?
Yeah,
Just for fun. That's what you did in the 60s. You built dams.
When there's no video games, life was a hellscape.
Everyone's parents suck, and apparently all the good parents have died, and that's like what you do. You just build a dam to deal with it.
I thought they were going to like try to generate some power and like, I don't know, distribute it locally. I don't know. They're just, trying to... What's the fucking purpose of a dam, You gotta find a way to monetize it. We haven't talked about Richie yet. Richie is the worst successful stand-up comedian of all time. Don't you think, Stevie?
It is rough. He's like a mix of Jeff Foxworthy and who's the guy that smashed watermelons?
Gallagher?
Yeah, he's like Jeff Foxworthy and Gallagher combined, which is something that only Satan could dream up of. But Richie was annoying as a child and as an adult. It was a very strange combo. Yeah, and like I also loved like the show he did like as an adult where the audience wasn't fully packed, looked like quarter packed, which in this time frame made sense because of COVID. And like my honest thought, like when I was watching this, was like, oh yeah, it can't be full because of COVID. And then I remembered, oh, it's 1990. We were full systems go then.
Richie just didn't even sell out the show.
He didn't even sell it out. I mean, quarter full, but apparently he brings in the money.
I mean, how much power does the electric company have? How much power does the electric company have? Remember Godzilla? I mean, the planes couldn't stop him. The atom bomb couldn't stop him. Hell, Nancy Reagan couldn't stop him. But you get him in front of one high power line. Look, the creature is attacking the city.
Was he a stand-up in this movie? I didn't
in this
even notice.
movie, yeah.
No,
Okay.
but they say at one point, who's going to sit behind the desk and make him laugh? He's the host. But it doesn't make any sense because if he's the host of this late night show, because there's like, who's going to fill in for you? He's like, get Leno to fill in for me. But the format of this late night show is the host of the show apparently does some like banger set at the end, including like racist Godzilla jokes, then just walks off the stage, leaving his guests on stage, like in chairs. It makes no sense. Like what is happening?
Is that in the second part of the movie?
No, it's this part.
No, that's his like adult introduction.
I must have just zoned out.
Man, you've been doing it a lot. Richie as an adult kind of sucks, but I do enjoy Seth Green's portrayal of him as a kid. Like, he's the one kid in the group that kind of stands up for him. He dumps the pop on the bullies' heads, which is classic. It's probably Mr. Pibb. He's like talking back to him and stuff.
The stickiest of pops.
I love that guy, man.
You better go. knows? I'm a dead man.
If I were you guys, I wouldn't pay to see a monster movie. I'd just stay home and look in the mirror.
No, I like Richie too. He was kind of like him and Bill were my favorites as a kid, and I just liked Bill because I like Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah.
Me and Josh are big Sidekicks fans. We did a podcast on it.
Boo.
Well, I was made to watch that movie. I wouldn't say I'm huge Sidekicks
fans. Big Chuck Norris guy, Josh. But one of the things that Richie encounters as a kid, and maybe Mikey, you can tell us about this, and Eddie's encounter too a little bit if you'd like. Richie encounters Pennywise in like the school janitor closet or whatever.
Richie is at lunch or something, and I guess the bullies knock over his tray and leave a big mess. And then he is forced to go down into the school basement and find the janitor to find someone to clean it up. So he goes down there, and of course it's lit very spooky. Everything's red, and he runs into a werewolf, which is just like Pennywise messing with him, taking a different form or something. But he like grabs his arm and he almost gets him, but Richie ends up getting away, and he runs back upstairs into the cafeteria and like an idiot says that he saw a werewolf, and everybody laughs and makes fun of him, and then his friends just like shake their head and like shame because it's like they think he's being an idiot.
They all flow down here.
You gotta help me. Somebody, please. In the basement. There's a werewolf.
A werewolf? Don't you know we're all getting chased by a clown? You fucking idiot.
Yeah, how'd you mess up the monster?
Was that the same werewolf from Silver Bullet?
Untrue. They were looking around worried. They'd all been seeing some crazy shit, and they were like, what is going on right now?
What do you guys think of that werewolf mask?
It didn't look bad.
No, you don't think so? I think it looked awful.
I thought it looked terrible.
It looked so... Like, I think I was a scarier werewolf as a kid. I was a werewolf for Halloween one year. I'll dig up that photo for you guys. What about Eddie in the showers? I guess that's another one of the big moments of this movie in terms of, like, the famous scares.
Him coming out of the drain.
Yeah, him coming up out of the drain. Brett, you want to tell us about that bit?
That's fine. I was thinking immediately about, I was told Brittany, nowadays, you definitely couldn't be a PE teacher and say, hey, come back here to take a shower alone. I mean, that, like, popped into my head for some reason. But, yeah, he's back there taking a shower because his mom is a hypochondriac and she has Munchausen's by proxy. She's just really crazy. So he's taking a shower, and then all these spigots or whatever they're called start going off. Spouts, I'll say spouts. And then he's kind of like trying to pop out of the drain, and he like kind of makes like a funny joke. He's like, oh, I'll make this easier or whatever. And it like opens up and he pops out. And then it's always funny. You can tell like when he's talking, and then when like his different mold of his teeth is in when he's doing the scary thing, because it looks terrible.
Yeah, the fake teeth.
Yeah, I mean, his mouth is like 3 times bigger. It's like you can tell it's just really uncomfortable in there for him.
But what about the stop motion drain? Where are you at on that?
Love it.
When it turns into like clay and he
yeah,
comes out.
He's just like, it doesn't even like remotely look like he really pulled a drain apart. It's just like, just pushed aside some clay.
This looks like something out of like a shitty Tim Burton movie. It's so bad.
So a Tim Burton movie.
That's all of them. Yeah. Oh, yes, Stevie, we're on the same page there.
Well, first of all, Brett, you definitely, this is the height of the Joe Paterno era. You definitely could say that to a kid in certain parts of the country. Second of all, I think that the Eddie introduction of the adult Eddie is like one of the best camera work moments of this whole movie. This movie does a lot of steady cam and does a lot of like extended takes, actually. Like I was kind of starting to like even like time some shots, because like, man, this has been going on for like 60, 90, 2-minute shots. And like the best one is Eddie coming down the stairway, like he's packing his stuff, his mom's like in his face.
Ma, the meatloaf! Fuck!
they do a bunch of cool transitions with mirrors and stuff as they follow him down the stairway. I don't know if you remember that, Korey, but I thought that was like the shining light in terms of like camera work from this movie.
They didn't even stick out to me, but I'll take your word for it. I honestly don't remember the way that scene looks. Eddie he's like one of the guys that I don't like. So like I kind of...
You didn't like Kid Eddie?
Not really, no.
I thought he was the only good kid actor.
That kid has asthma one scene and it fades out and it comes back when it's like meant to be like 5 minutes and he doesn't have asthma anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely not like that in the book. He's like almost dying. So yeah, asthma's like a humongous story in the...
Is it Munchausen's by proxy in the book?
Yeah, the mom's definitely got Munchausen's by proxy. But he's like just a sickly kid.
So like he's sickly because of her and she like takes like sympathy for it, I imagine.
Kind of. I mean, actually in the very small amounts they show her, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And she's not a part of the adult thing. He's actually got a wife who's just like his mom.
Ugh.
But yeah, actually, and like there's a whole story with the pharmacist and he's like, you're not even taking a real inhaler. Like,
okay.
So he might not actually have asthma is kind of the point of that whole story, but he's just sickly in general. I mean, he's kind of scrawny. He might not have real asthma or not, but his mom just really did a number on him.
Gotcha.
Well, since we're talking about the asthma, that scene where they all pass around the inhaler as an act of like unity, is that to take place of the famous child orgy scene?
Is that the very end of the childhood story in the sewer?
It's before they go in the sewer. Yeah.
Then probably, Josh. I mean, yeah, that's it's a little different.
Yeah, they had bond over albuterol, as you do. I did see some stuff online about like the orgy scene, like the actress that played Beverly, adult Beverly. She wanted it to be in the movie, but the director didn't, obviously, so they didn't put it in. That's just some weird shit, man. Stephen King was on one at the time he was writing this book, and you can feel that when you read it, right, Brett and Pappy? Like this book is weird. Like
there's some other really sexual weird stuff that they didn't include. Like there's this whole character who, besides Pennywise, is easily the most messed up character in the whole book, and they kind of wrote him out of the
Patrick Hochstetter
or whatever. Yeah, he's a legit psychopath, and he does some pretty sexual stuff as well. So he was not made for TV. Let's put it that way.
You're not going to say it, are you?
No, I'm not going to say what he does to Henry Bowers.
What he does with Henry Bowers.
To him.
It's just weird that, like, how has it not been canceled? Like, especially, like, there's this, like, hunt for, like, pedophilia now, especially, like, on the internet. And, like, this is literally a book that contains a child orgy. Like, how is this... Like, how is that just, like, trimmed from the fat
Nobody
of the
reads,
story?
Pap. Nobody reads anymore.
This is America.
What?
Get your books and get out of here. All right?
You commie.
I'm not even saying, like, it is what it is. Like, I liked the book quite a bit when I read it, but it's just, like, I don't know, like, how we're, like, there was, like, a reinterpretation of it, and, like, there was never even, like, do people just not know that's a thing?
I think they do know it's a thing. I mean, he explains it in the book. I mean, it's not like, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's really weird. It's just...
Nobody's talking about the book anymore, though. Everybody's only talking about, like, the remakes recently. They're not... And they've gone into that regarding the remakes of, like, yeah, we're just not going to do that. So they've acknowledged that portion of the book and they've cut it out.
Why does the orgy take place?
Stevie, it's just for them to, like, maintain unity and closeness or whatever. And it actually ended up not really working because, again, they all forget about it. But... it's supposed to bring unity back to the group because, I don't know, this was really weird, but it's a very uncomfortable read.
It is very strange.
The pain fades. Suddenly, he moves more quickly, then stops, stiffens, and makes a sound. Some sound. She senses that this is something for him, something extraordinary special, like flying. Like, that is just fucking weird. I'm trying to find more weird text. That's gross, though. Is it not? Like,
yeah, let's cancel Korey.
Hey, I didn't write this book in 1981 or whatever the fuck it was.
Someone considered it the heart of the book.
Let's make this into a made-for-TV movie written all over it.
I guess one thing it has going for it is that it's not glamorized, maybe. Like, I feel like within the story, you know that that's super messed up among all these other messed up things, but this is kind of a head-scratcher, Pappy. I mean, what can people do about it? The story's already known and told. Take books off shelves or something. I don't know.
I'm definitely not advocating for that. My comment is just like, I'm surprised people haven't come after it. Is what I'm saying. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to cancel Stephen King. I'm just surprised in 2020 that the spotlight hasn't turned on passages like he stiffened inside of her and stuff.
Was this
like,
during Stephen's like John Hughes phase where he'd lock himself in a room for 48 hours with 3 pounds of coke?
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
He wrote it in the mid 80s, so probably.
Probably then, okay.
So to get back kind of into the story, so we've talked about Mike Hanlon. He's like the one guy that stayed in Derry. He's the one guy that remembers everything from their childhood because he stayed in Derry. And he's been calling everyone up and they've been reminiscing. And essentially, he's saying, everyone come back to Derry. It is back. We have to defeat him again. And his story, I guess, kind of leads up to the point where they make the pact. Josh, why don't you tell us about like his memories and kind of where that takes us in terms of the story?
Well, first of all, they drop some hard N-words in this, and it's not that great. The bully, just calling him that kind of multiple times, but...
I gotta say, though, the IMDb trivia, and you never know with that shit, but it says that the actor like felt really bad about that and would apologize him like...
That actor wrote that.
Apologize to him constantly. Anyway.
He said it like he loved it. It was weird.
It's called acting.
One thing I noticed, the realism in this story is that when that cop comes and like tells them all to get away, then comes down and does like this weird handshake with them all.
You mean the random Irish cop that lives in Derry?
Good morning, Philadelphia. I'm Crazy Patty, and I'm coming to you from Patty's Pub telling you to come on down. We're slashing prices so low, you won't need a pot of gold to get sloppy.
Yeah, why was he super Irish?
It's East Coast in the 50s. I mean...
I think he's Irish in the book, too.
He is definitely Irish in the book.
I mean, heavy on the Irish.
Yeah, that happens, but that's before Mike joins the group. Like, cop's super nice to him.
I see what you're saying.
Then. But anyway. Mike.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so Mike, he does photography, and like Stevie mentioned, like how things kind of repeat over and over again. Like Mike's always got to make the call, and everyone's got to always not know who he is at first.
Did Mike call himself?
But his memory is like kind of the same thing with like those same bullies giving him crap when he's trying to present his like father's priceless photography book, and the bullies like steal it out of his hands, and he steals it back and starts running, and it's actually a pretty great scene. It's like a David and Goliath good
Rock
biblical
fight.
stoning when he runs up and he finds a new group of friends, and they're like, yeah, we like you, we hate them. Actually, they're like, we're neutral with you, but we hate them, so we're your friends.
The apocalyptic rock fight.
They start throwing rocks. It's awesome.
As kids do, just chucking rocks at each other's heads.
Pappy, did you have thoughts about the rock fight?
I don't know. Like, every time I watch a rock fight, like, I'm just like, God damn, this is the most brutal fucking thing in the world. Like, you know, a rock to the wrong place is deadly. But I don't know. Not really. Stevie, you mentioned to me that you didn't like the rock fight in the first It. What was that? How is that different? Because this is pretty run-of-the-mill.
My main thing was it was a misuse of music in the new movie. But the one thing I did love about this rock fight was Jonathan Brandis picked up a boulder with two hands and swung it as hard as he could at one of the kids that easily could have killed or, like, I mean, honestly put one of those kids in a wheelchair for life. It was a fantastic shot. But, I don't know. What was the rock fight like in the book?
Brutal.
Mm-hmm. Super memorable. Like, it's one of my favorite parts of the book.
Yeah, like really, really long and, you know, perilous,
incredibly sexual,
and like literally, like their lives might be at risk if they lose this rock fight.
Okay, Brett. So, what music would you have used either in this one or in the first movie?
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Ha! The Rock's laying the smackdown.
Nice.
I don't know.
Very punny. I like it.
Can we also mention that Mike, the adult version of Mike, is the dad from Sister,
Sister, and from WKRP in Cincinnati, a little before all of our time, but
Tim Reed,
Venus Flytrap.
That rock fight is super gratifying, though, because the bully gets hit a couple times, and you're like, yeah. And then out of nowhere, out of everyone else, of course, the girl gets smoked next. And she's like, oh.
Tell me you did not think that was freaking hilarious. She's like, ah.
I laughed every time.
She gets annihilated.
But Ben runs to her defense because her hair is winter fire. January embers.
What a white knight.
Even though it's not.
She burns there.
Yeah, because in the book her hair's red and this is freaking brown.
Doesn't make any sense that he wrote that poem in this movie, does it?
No. I didn't think about that until we just started talking about it.
One of the things that Mike has, like someone mentioned, is that photo book. They all look at it together, and I really like this moment where they see like the photos start to move Harry Potter style. And Pennywise is in there, like, doing backflips. He kind of, like, confronts them through the picture.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
At this point, did anyone, like, start to wonder or have any thoughts? Like, why isn't he doing anything to them?
He's like, he likes to play with this food a little bit, like as weird as that sounds.
He says that. He says they taste better when they're scared.
He's like the creeper in Jeepers Creepers.
I've never seen it.
Oh, classic spoilers episode.
Classic spoilers.
Well, anyway, there's the big moment where he, like, kind of comes through the picture, and then they decide to make a pact. They're going to kill him, and they make their way into, I mean, a few scenes later, but they make their way into, like, that sewer area. They kind of just decide that silver will work, so they get some, like, silver, I guess they say earrings, right? But they don't really look like...
Okay.
They look like just melted down silverware. It doesn't look like anything.
Clumps.
And they would be heavy as hell on your ears, for sure. They're giant.
The mom was just wearing those earrings as is, just two giant hunks of silver hanging off of her earlobes.
Melted down
like,
silver.
The silver thing, to me, I'm curious what Josh thought, because in this adaptation, it feels very out of left field. When I think about the book, and less so, I guess, the modern movie, but it's very grounded in, like, pop culture references, right? Like, their whole world is being shaped by, like, 1950s America and, like, what's happening. And, like, the movie scene, like, is brief here, and you can kind of get how they're plugged into that world, but I don't. Did it make sense to you, Josh? Were you on board with them just deciding silver works?
Yeah, it's kind of like that question I think I asked Brett earlier, but it was like Jonathan Brandis is like, if we believe it'll work, it'll work. So it's almost like the power of the silver just comes from, like, whatever random thing they would think would kill Pennywise, I guess.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Pappy, don't they...
It's like a bullet, isn't it? In the book?
A silver bullet.
What the heck you gonna shoot a 44 bullet at anyway? Made out of silver.
How about a werewolf?
It's either like an old silver coin or like an old bullet from an old gun or something, but they actually combined two scenes into this last scene. They have actually in the new movie they show it. It's in that little old house. That's where they actually shoot him with silver. And I think they try to get Richie to look at him because that's like their best bet. They think that if they can get him to turn into a vampire, a werewolf, that the silver would work. But Also, I think Josh has got a point too. But I mean, I think they like set it up for Richie to actually be the one there, so it can look like the werewolf, and that's just kind of like their Hail Mary to the heavens. So it freaking jacks him up too. He like talks about it in the book. He's like, he didn't know he could feel such pain. Like his head really does like explode like that. Yeah, he's like really freaked out that happened to him.
Gary Busey should have been in this movie.
As one of the kids.
I'm sure that's what we were all thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Where's Gary Busey?
Listen to me.
Yeah.
You are one thing and one thing only. You're a simple coward. A simple coward.
All right, well, give me another chance. Let's
And
do
when you
something
pee,
else.
that yellow that comes out,
Yeah.
I bet you smile at that because it's yellow, your favorite color. Listen to me. Listen.
Yeah.
You're missing the wagon here, buddy.
Okay.
If you're gonna bring up silver like this and werewolves, Gary Busey's got to be in it.
Oh, I thought you were just saying like sick Gary Busey on him. Like he'll just kill him with his bare hands.
No, I'm talking about Gary Busey from the movie Silver
Right.
Bullet from Stephen King.
With Corey Haim, yeah, my namesake.
Yeah, exactly.
Mikey, why don't you tell us about the ending of this bit here where the kids go, they go to face off against Pennywise.
They're playing an away game. They don't have home court advantage here because they're in Pennywise's house. So they're falling around in the sewer. It's really dark. They don't know where they're going. And I don't know. Like a lot of this scene is just movement through pipes. The camera moving around through pipes as we're like Pennywise's POV as he's like picking off kids. So it's not even that scary, but we eventually get the kids all like, I don't know, whatever they believe is gonna work against this alien. So they all hold hands like that's gonna make a difference, and then Pennywise shows up and he's like, well, I'm gonna eat you. And then...
I want to say real quick, Henry Bowers and his like crew follows him in.
That's my favorite part of the whole movie is Henry Bowers' boy like getting lifted up into the air and like this weird like aura and this like bizarre look he has on his face as he's getting pulled in the tower. But the absolute best part is like Henry Bowers as he turns away from the light of it or whatever it is, and he's got white hair now. He's got this goofy look.
Oh my
on
gosh,
his
I
face.
started laughing at that part.
It's the funniest part of this whole movie.
When he looks like Billy Idol and he's like his like slow turn to the camera.
Does he not get eaten?
No.
My favorite part of that scene was when Belch was getting pulled through the pipe and his body was getting all bent weirdly. That looked awesome and hilarious.
That part has always stuck with me. I do legitimately really like that. Like him getting slowly pulled and like the dead expression on his face.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty sweet.
It's the best acting Belch has ever done.
No, Never Ending Story takes it. Stevie, what do they do to defeat Pennywise?
It's nonsense is what it is. Yeah, they start holding in the prayer circle and singing Kumbaya, Pennywise go away. So if I remember correctly, Pennywise grabs Stan the man and throws him up against the wall. He's really freaking Stan the fuck out. Like, he's really priming the steak up on the grill, like, I cannot wait to eat this thing. That's when we get some straight up nonsense, because the floor is all foggy, and Beverly gets drops her slingshot, picks up her bullet again that she drops, and hits Pennywise with a perfect sniper shot.
Headshot.
We get more of that stop motion nonsense that just looks ungodly awful, even for the 90s.
Well, first he gets battery acid to the face. It's pretty cool.
That's like the one thing that scared me as a kid, was when his like skin was coming off, like, and makeup was coming off. That actually still looks kind of creepy to this day. So I will give this movie credit for that.
It wasn't battery. Well, it was his inhaler, right? Or did they kill it or something?
This is battery acid, you slime.
But he believed it was battery.
But he believes it's battery acid.
Stupid.
It may be bad looking, Stevie, but it was preceded by one of those shots Pappy was talking about earlier. It circled Stanley like 3 times as he's muttering a prayer. I thought that looked really cool.
Not a prayer, the Boy Scout oath. I will honor to do my best to do my duty to God and my country. Or I was a Cub Scout, so
Yeah, that kid's in a cult. The Boy Scouts are a cult to him.
He was saying it as if it were a prayer.
I think Pap was in the Scouts, weren't you?
I got my Weeblo, I got my Arrow of Light. I graduated from Cub Scouts and I was, too cool to do Boy Scouts, which I regret.
This kid is deep in it, though. This kid is reciting the Boy Scouts prayer every night before bed.
He's an Eagle Scout now. He's graduated way ahead.
What I like is when Pennywise gets the silver ball to the dome, he does a front flip into the drain. He does this really super out of place acrobatic move. Jumps high into the air, does a front flip, goes down the drain.
Like Neo.
He has the chi.
Oh, he has such chi.
It's very Mulan-esque, yes. I think the director of Mulan got inspiration from this movie. It was in the IMDb trivia. I don't know. There's kind of a vagueness to this because Bill is saying he's not dead. Everyone else is like, fuck it, he's dead. Good enough. We find out later, of course, he's not. But the gang, they do make a pact to come back one day if it ever resurfaces. And that's kind of what we've been seeing throughout the whole first part of this.
Jonathan Brandis is like, swear to me.
Swear to me.
Swear to me.
He's the Batman of Derry.
Still trying to kill a clown, or find a killer clown.
Oh, yeah. There's the tie-in. Pappy, it doesn't end there, though. Part 1, that is. Why don't you tell us where Part 1 actually ends? I think it's some Oscar-worthy acting, personally, but where are you at?
It's very 90s TV movie miniseries level acting, I'll say. So he gets to meet older Stanley, and I don't know why, he didn't really seem like Stanley to me, even though there's all the bird things around his house and the reference to what he wanted to be when he grows up. I don't know, I just didn't see him as Stanley. He's more like Marge and Norm Gunderson from Fargo than Stanley, but
he's more like the uncle from My Girl.
Exactly, yeah. But Stanley's been a bitch the whole movie. He didn't even want to agree to the pledge to come back to Derry, and he gets the call, and he doesn't take it very well. And him and his wife were making out hard right before he got that call, and he's like, I gotta go take a bath. And he goes up, and we don't see a lot of blood, and we don't really see the wound, but we get to see the blade that he slit his wrist with. And we see it scratch over the wall, and the wife's reaction is a little over the top. I don't know if that's what you were talking about. It's a little silly, but fade to black as always. End of the first episode of the miniseries.
We need a meme gif of her just screaming, no!
Yeah, we'll put that at the end of that new Adam Sandler movie trailer. Fuck that shit.
Future spoilers movie.
No. So I have a quick question for you guys, and we're gonna go east to west. What do you think of the horror in the movie so far? Is it scary? Brett, I think that puts you first.
No, I wasn't scared. I watched it up until midnight, and if anybody knows me, I won't watch scary movies, and I certainly won't watch them when it's even remotely dark out. No, it's not scary.
He's the Stanley Uris of the group.
It's not logical.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't scary. I think the first time I watched it, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I got kind of a creepy vibe, but I didn't even find the new the first one, scary. I don't know. Not really. So no.
Look at this badass.
It's the perfect example of every time they showed Pennywise in the new movie, he got less and less scary. So, plus the trailer was freaking scary. So, the answer is no. No.
The horror in this movie?
Her name's Beverly. Jeez.
Let's see. The horror in this movie. Brett, come on.
Come on.
She's
Brett.
only 12 years old. Running away with them boys.
Sometimes I worry about you, Brett. Sometimes I worry a lot.
Daddy, no.
Oh, man. The horror in this movie, a lot of it's the dialogue. such as See You Later, Alligator, and after a while, Crocodile.
Sends shivers down my spine.
It really does that. And when Jonathan freaking Brandis rides away on his bike and screams,
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
I wanted to throw my controller at my TV.
Come on, Stevie.
He was cool for 1960.
I mean, it wasn't cool at any point to ride your bike and scream that. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of was that a big thing in the book, Pap or Josh? It
was.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. Yeah.
It's like a source of power.
It's set up super well in the book, and it's just out of nowhere.
That's fine. Put Hi-Ho Silver on a movie marquee or a cutout in a restaurant where we can here's a nod to it. Don't scream it. That stuff drives me nuts. But yeah, I don't really find this movie scary. I found it scary is when I was 3 or 4 when Pennywise was melting for the first time. But as far as TV movie goes, it's not that bad. It's just, I don't know. I mean, how scary can a TV movie be?
Some pretty scary ones on Lifetime.
Those are the best movies.
I think I'm next, but I don't think it's that scary. I think it could be if you really thought about it, because they really do kind of cut every time there would be violence. We talked about that earlier, but I enjoy that it's not super scary. It allowed me to relax and watch this and just kind of take in the story of the kids and stuff. And it's kind of the opposite of what a Hostel or a Saw is going to do, where they just show every drop of blood coming out. I don't like that stuff, so I do appreciate this kind of stuff.
It's incredibly boring. There's no horror at all. It's just like Josh said, they cut whenever anything violent is about to happen. Not that I need to see violence or anything, but there's really nothing to go off of to get any emotion of fear or get your heart rate going up. So it's all pretty tame. Like Stevie said, you're not going to see anything made for TV that's going to be too scary. Do we know what channel this was on back then?
ABC.
Yeah, you're not going to have anything.
This is just a clean Disney movie. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say profoundly unscary. And I think the way that it's structured like the book, right? And when they redid the movies, it was a choice to do it all kids. But what that does get you out of is this repetitive nature. And even if you would find the first flashback scary, I feel like you're just gonna, it just is so repetitive, and you know that there's gonna be a Pennywise, you know they're gonna escape, and you're just gonna go on to the next kid. So I don't see how even the tension could work when you just know exactly the beats it's gonna hit every time.
Well, fair enough. We'll see if these responses change. That's It Part 1. We're gonna take a short break before we go into It Part 2. But first, we do have some quick trivia.
Oh!
So we're going to do one Jeopardy-style question and answer. Whoever responds correctly will get a daily double bonus during Poor Man's Jeopardy trivia.
Mother of God.
So that means the winner's first pick, mind you, in Poor Man's Jeopardy, it is going to have double the value.
Game changer.
Wow.
So if you pick a 2-pointer and you get it right, you're going to actually get 4 points. Or if you get it wrong, it'll be deducted 4 points.
Oh, no.
So again, there's only one question and answer here. I'm going to go to each of you one at a time. And if someone gets it right, that's it. The bonus goes to them. If for some reason you don't want this, you can pass if you're worried about the negative points. Trivia order does not apply here. So I'm putting your names in a random generator. Wow. And we're going to go through you one at a time.
We don't have that technology.
Just let me know when you fire up the generator. I'll provide the noises.
Firing it up now. I think it's good.
Okay. Nice and mixed.
All right. First up is Stevie.
No.
Boo.
Seth Green co-starred alongside Mike Myers in this 1999 smash comedy.
99? That would have been Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Sorry, your answer must be in the form of a question.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
What is Austin Powers and the Spy Who Shagged Me?
That goes to Josh next. Josh, you're number 2.
Petty. So petty.
If y'all had some testicles, you'd be like, give Stevie the points.
I don't want to make Stevie mad.
Yeah. Because everybody else would have said Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
I may have said Goldmember.
Uh-huh.
Who was Austin Powers of the Shy Bag?
What was that?
I think I heard it. Can I get it one more time?
Josh is saying it wrong each time.
Yeah, less right than Stevie's answer.
Yeah.
Where is Austin Powers, the Spy Who Shagged Me?
Technically, your response is in the form of a question, and it is the right response. Somehow you made it, Josh. Congratulations.
Boo.
Looks like we made it.
Controversy.
Of course, Josh is at the center of it.
Y'all can miss me on part 2.
That's all there is?
Yeah, just one. Just going to go through each of you until someone gets it.
Sorry that Korey's a man of principle.
That's bad. I thought it was going to be a hard question.
I thought that was hard. That wasn't hard?
No.
It was tricky.
I was like, Korey, that was like the most popular movie of the 90s was Austin Powers. Besides your stupid Star Wars prequels, it was Austin Powers next.
All right, just before we go, side note, I was driving to Maryland a few years ago for training, and I got into Pennsylvania, and I texted Brittany to let her know I was in Pennsylvania, and after PE, my autocorrect came up as Pennywise. I was listening to it on audiobook at the time, and I was kind of freaked out a little bit.
Dude, you're in Pennywise's algorithm. You got to get out, bro.
Oh, no. Dang it.
Did you guys notice Pennywise kills a lot more than just children? He kills a lot of boners in this movie, kills a lot of celebrations.
What's a children?
Yeah, he kills all those sexy moments.
Even if it's not his best role, I hope at some point we talk about how Tim Curry is a worldwide treasure and he's unbelievable.
Muppet Treasure Island's future spoilers pick.
Shiver my timber, shiver my soul.
I loved him in Congo.
Classic.
But that's it for part 1. Like I said, we're going to take a short break. We'll see you guys in a little bit to finish up it. And we'll be doing part 2.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I've had diabetes for about 20 years. I stay active and I feel pretty good most of the time. See, I do a few simple things now. I'm not perfect, but I try and watch my diet and exercise, and I check my blood sugar. And I get all my diabetic testing supplies from Liberty Medical. If you're 65 or over and on Medicare, call Liberty. They can help you live a better life. Hundreds of thousands of people trust Liberty. They're the nation's leader in home delivery of diabetic testing supplies. Bring everything you need right to your door. Fill out your insurance forms, even bill Medicare or your insurance company, and you pay no money up front. Oh, and they carry all the brands. If you have diabetes, you check your blood sugar and you check it off, and there's no reason not to. And call Liberty. They can help you live a better life.
And we're back. Hello, everyone. During our break, we were talking. We were having a little group discussion, and we decided that instead of discussing part 2 of the It miniseries, we're gonna just go ahead and review the 2002 Adam Sandler classic, Mr. Deeds. What do you guys say?
Let's go. Yes.
Pivot.
Finally, a good movie.
Finally, a good movie.
I'm very sneaky.
Pappy asked Korey in the group thread if he liked dark comedies, and Korey gave our group thread a cold shoulder for like 4 days after
At
that.
least 4 days.
It was awkward.
It took him that long to find out what a dark comedy was.
You guys were just talking football for like 72 straight hours.
Wait, were we?
Yeah, I had no idea what the fuck anyone was talking about.
That sounds about right.
That sounds so right.
They're like fucking end zone, yards, kicker, special teams. I'm like, what the fuck are these words?
I just assumed you like really hated Mr. Deeds and were super offended by us defending it.
That's what I thought.
Like, I don't really hate Mr. Deeds. It's just like one of Adam Sandler's like kind of lame movies. It's not like Blended or, you know, Pixels. I mean, things have gotten a lot worse since Mr. Deeds.
Just go with it's one of his best, though.
You know, if Mr. Deeds would have come out in 1999 instead of 2000, whatever, he would have liked it. Because it would have been a 90s movie.
It was right on the cusp of being good, Brett. But let's switch gears. We are going to talk about part 2 of the It miniseries. My points here might be slightly out of order, so ignore the finer details. Where we left off, our gang of heroes, now grown, are going back to Derry after being contacted by Mike and them going through each of their own like vague flashbacks of the trauma they endured as children.
One of the grave spots is taken up. Not all of them are going back. Eek.
Dude, he's so good in that scene. I'm sorry. Like, Tim Curry's at least really good. Like, he might look silly, but I think he's really good in these flashback scenes. He like is doing his best with what he can.
Take your pick, Billy boy. Oh, except for the one on the end. That's already taken. Sorry.
I remember you. And I remember we beat you. I'm not afraid of you.
I agree. I think Tim Curry is awesome in this movie. And he's just kind of awesome in general, but he's really great as Pennywise. I mean, even though it's not necessarily scary all the time and it's just him being a fucking goofball, like, that's still cool. Like, I still am entertained by that.
See, that's the kind of dark comedy that Korey likes.
Yeah.
That's the dark comedy.
I guess we found it.
I was saying that Stanley is not coming back to town because he died by suicide, and then Brett just brought up it.
No, but so. I know what you meant. Yeah, Stanley. I'm saying he's good in that part.
Stanley, smartest character? Yes. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to be bored for the next hour and a half.
It's true.
I'd rather go down like Stan than Eddie.
A virgin?
A virgin eaten by a spider bug thing.
No, he just gets hugged.
Are we gonna get to that virgin part? Is that like them trying to do a complete 180 from what really happens?
Oh, that's an interesting take.
By the way, because I told you he's married in the book.
And if I remember, he married a woman that's like his mom, like just a like controlling nightmare lady.
Yeah, yeah, Stevie. But they had an orgy in the book, and then all of a sudden, before he dies,
I thought the allusion to that was John Ritter stroking that girl's face for 10 straight minutes. It was really awkward.
Oh my god!
I did not like on screen. Like, ugh, did not like that one bit.
Stevie, imagine how much he was doing that, like how many takes they took and like between scenes and like getting into character.
Take 37. John strikes again.
John Ritter's got Burger King grease on his fingers. Wiping them all over Annette O'Toole's face.
She makes out with Bill full on when they get to the Chinese restaurant too.
So
it's
awkward.
Gross.
She kisses. What the heck is the funny guy's name? Funny, Richie? Air quotes. Richie. She kisses
Jeff
Richie, and then she gets to Ben and doesn't do anything. Then she full on makes out with Bill. It's so weird.
He's a married man.
It's like they clearly, because I think in the book it even says something like there's like some sexual chemistry between them, and the way that they show that on screen is showing them making out. Like there's no subtleness at all, and they're like conveying.
They have sex in the book.
Do they? I only read 80% of the book.
I learned on Reddit recently that women are oftentimes just attracted to men with a different type of immune system than them. So I think that's what like they got going on.
What?
So it's like no.
What?
What are you talking about, Joe Rogan?
Look that up, Jamie.
She should be into Eddie then.
My serious point here is that as weird and awkward as like all that sexual stuff is, it's probably some of the most interesting stuff we see on film here. Like it actually is kind of captivating. Like, what is
because
going on?
it's the only thing happening.
Yeah, it's just awkward.
Can I say something about Bill?
Yeah.
I'm repulsed by him.
Yeah, he's
I hate his ponytail. I hate his mole. Like, he looks like Stephen King.
Kind
of,
yeah.
era.
Yeah, that's the point, right?
Pre-stroke.
That is Stephen King, though, right?
He's so unpleasant to see.
Does the mole have a ponytail? I can't tell.
It's a single strand of hair, but yes.
The mole is the reason he has the ponytail. It made him keep it.
Stevie, to answer your question, what's the book he wrote in the thing? There's a poster in the library.
The Smiling.
No.
The glowing?
The glowing, yeah.
The glowing. That's a great reference.
The glowing, which is The Shining, but maybe you guys can fill me in on like what the others are, because there's High Wire, Gargoyles Dance, Gnaw, and The Smile.
So Gnaw is probably Cujo?
High Wire might be Firestarter? I don't know. High Wire. What was the second one?
Any of those?
Gargoyles Dance.
Gargoyles Dance.
That's probably a reference to The Shining. I have to imagine the book when he's like out in the courtyard and all the statues are moving.
Oh, and like the hedges are moving and shit too? Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a reference to that.
Thought he was just a big fan of that Gargoyles TV series. That shit was dope.
That's what I was going to say.
Street Sharks?
Street Sharks.
Biker Mice from Mars? So Bill arrives in Derry. He meets up with Mike at the library. And he hangs out with Mike for a while. They kind of like dig up some old memories because people's memories kind of start to come back a little bit when they get back in Derry, but it takes a while.
By dig up some memories, do you mean have a 10-minute bike montage of fucking rad tricks? And
This movie makes me repulsed by bikes. I hate them now.
That is exactly what I mean, Mikey. I mean, did you think that was fun?
Hell yeah. Everybody's just getting some sick combos. There's a peg grind off of what is it? The thing that goes up and down.
Seesaw or teeter-totter?
A seesaw, yeah.
Then turned it into a McTwist?
I don't know. I thought that guy was gonna die when he went up and down that thing. He looked very shaky on that.
Bill was so impressed when he did that move.
It's the worst touchdown dance ever.
Bill's reaction to that is the best part of this entire movie.
It might be.
It really is. It's the only thing that feels somewhat authentic for the time.
Korey, do you approve of how long this montage is, though? I mean, this thing is 3 hours long, and this has got to be at least 5 minutes.
I love to hate these kind of scenes. There's 2 of these scenes in the second half of this movie. And man, the way you do the things you do is this one. And then there's we'll talk about the other one in a minute.
Do you guys not have any nostalgia, though, for like meeting up with people you knew in your hometown, from your hometown, and like kind of acting like kids again?
What do you think this podcast is, Josh?
I have nostalgia when I do it, not when I watch these losers from It do it.
Saying you guys all live in your hometown still, except for Korey.
Sorry, Brett's all high and mighty over there in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Sorry, he moved out of Derry, guys. He's gone.
It's just painfully awkward, though, right, Josh? Like their movements and like when they do like the whole bowl thing, like it's not even like they're like say act like a kid, and it just doesn't work. It's weird, uncomfortable.
Also, because they're running away from a supernatural clown, and they're like having fun. It's like, dude, go get a gun with silver bullets. Why is nobody strapped up in this movie?
It's addressed. Richie comments, why don't we have a machine gun before they go down there? I guess that kind of addresses that.
Kind of on Pappy's point, Bill's face when he opens the deck of cards and his like mouth is just hanging open.
Dude, he's out of breath. He can barely say his lines. Like he's huffing and puffing them. It's so strange. I
thought that was just a stutter.
No, he's like he rides up on the bike and he's like out of breath from riding on the bike. It's a totally different voice than a stutter. Korey, play the clip.
Not just any cards. Bicycle.
They always made the best noise.
It's because Stephen King would also be out of breath. He's method acting.
He's method acting.
Well, also Richie arrives in town in a really nice car because, he's one of the guys that's hit the big time. What I think is funny about Richie's arrival in town is that he sings aloud while he's driving, but without any music playing.
Driving up and down the same old strip. I gotta find a new place where the kids are hip. Gotten so ugly. Oh, come on. Not the Paramount, you slime balls. Where are the people of this city supposed to get their culture?
He just sings? That's weird to me. I don't know. Is that not weird to you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Richie might be the worst character in the whole thing.
It struck me as a rights issue. They couldn't get the Beach Boys' actual recording, but they could have a character mime some of the lines. Honestly, I think that's it.
Well, when Richie arrives, he goes over to the library. Stevie, what did you think of this scene?
I was really bummed that Mike didn't call him on the phone again, because I feel like Mike's entire arc should be done on the phone and not in person. So that was kind of disappointing, but this is the part where Pennywise is starting to really fuck with him, and I did kind of like how Pennywise was interrupting him anytime he was trying to talk to that librarian chick, and especially when he was screaming, "She's too young for you." I actually laughed at that part. That was actually kind of funny. Isn't this also where, like, the balloons and blood were going off?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
In everyone's face.
Yeah, so I know the budget is low, and I understand they probably couldn't pay the editor a bunch of money, but I don't know. I didn't love the balloons and blood. I just thought it looked really cheap, especially with, like, the quick cuts, like, before and after.
Yeah.
But that's my take on it. You could just kind of... I understand it's a TV movie. I get it. But just looking at it was kind of awkward.
Very obvious jump cuts.
I think Pennywise is hilarious in that scene.
Yeah, that's probably maybe the best one when he's up on the top.
Mike Hanlon, if you see...
Excuse me, sir. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out.
Mike Hanlon, that I had to go, that I had to get cleaned up. Tell him I'll see him tonight.
Get out! Last chance, don't you? Get out! Get out! Excuse me, ma'am. Is your refrigerator running? It is. Well, you better catch it before it runs away.
Korey's watching this through the filter of a comedy. Like, what are we talking about here?
Pennywise is so fucking stupid in that moment.
He's stupid throughout the whole thing. He's talking in the moon. He's a face in the moon.
That's why I had that as the spoiler. I mean, he's just like such a troll.
Mikey, I'm somewhat surprised at you because the it parts are all just straight up practical effects with actor giving 100% effort. What, like...
Except they're not good. They're just not good. The effects aren't good, and he's not killing anybody. He's just kind of like, if you're standing right next to them, just stab somebody. Do something, man. I don't know. I know it's TV, but it's just so boring when, like, the whole movie is just getting pranked by Pennywise for 3 hours.
This is the original Punk'd.
And then at the end, he just gets curb stomped American X style. It's like so stupid.
That's a good way to put it. He's just like pranking people. That's his MO.
He's like Tom Green, but gets life from it.
He's like the collector, aka the pranker. The prankster.
Prank, bro. The Home Alone killer.
He's shooting his blood in people's faces. It's a good time.
It's just a prank, bro.
Well, Ben also arrives in Derry. Brett, you want to tell us about what Ben's up to?
Okay, yeah. He first stops off to the old barrens or whatever they're called. And
the most lush barrens ever.
Then he goes and stands at the place where he was almost killed the last time. And then some hobo comes up to him asking for money. He thinks it's Pennywise, but I think it's just a hobo. And then he goes back to the cab. And then another classic Pennywise when he pulls away. He's just standing on the side of the road with a balloon or something, waving at him.
Like, you guys are shitting on the Richie one. At least something happened in that one. At least there was blood. There's nothing. The Ben one is so lame. Like, we get another cameo of the
skull.
skeleton.
Yeah, the skull. I forgot about that.
And like as Brett said, a hobo shows up, and that's it. There's nothing. It's so forgettable.
It's like one jump scare.
When you have a prop that good, you got to reuse it.
Speaking of second movie club, I think that hobo was the hobo in Mr. Deeds.
Ooh, and in Superbad. At the bar.
Blue guys.
Blue guys. McMuffin.
Thank you, Stevie.
One of the things that Ben does is he first he witnesses some like late 80s street toughs. Like they beat up some kid and he's just kind of like watching like, this is pretty cool. And then like after they leave and like the coast is clear, he goes and like helps the kid out. The kid has like the tiniest little scratch on his knee, and he like takes a bandana and like dips it in pond water and like wraps it around
Now,
his
if
leg.
you do that in the Elkhart River, you're going to get some E. coli in that kid.
Yeah, that knee's coming off. That everything from the knee down, it's not going to last very long.
According to IMDb, the bum has one credit to his name, and it's It. Is an actor known for It.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Wait, was he It? Was he It in this movie, or is it just a bum?
No, his name is Bum. That's what he's credited as, Bum.
His Christian name is Bum?
Bum Jr., if you will.
His God-given legal name, Bum.
Any spare change, mister? Hey, who walked all over your grave? I wasn't gonna hurt you. I don't even know you.
He forgot his name.
This guy was a bum, and they paid him a bologna sandwich to be in this movie.
He's a nice bum. He doesn't want to hurt you. He doesn't even know you.
He's just looking at John Ritter. How much food did you get for this role?
Oof.
I have a question. Is John Ritter a good actor?
I think so.
Like in general,
Maybe
or
not.
is he just
He's
like
more a comedic guy, I think.
Is he just loved? Because I feel like everybody always loved John Ritter, and like, but I don't know if he's like an actually good actor, like Will Smith.
I mean, he's in Problem. You've seen Problem Child, right?
No.
I really liked Three's Company when I was a kid.
8 Simple Rules is really funny.
My dad used to like that show. He was only in like 30-something episodes of that show before he died.
But, I mean, that show went on for a lot longer.
Yeah, they changed the name to 8 Simple Rules. As opposed to, it was called 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
I'd like to see Pappy rub a woman's face for a couple hours on set and see where that gets him. Like, not just anyone can do that.
No one wants to see that. Only John Ritter can pull that off. I'm not likable enough to do that.
What do you think the direction there was? Like, hey, be as creepy as possible with Annette O'Toole. Put your dong on her neck and rub her face.
John, I want you to go to craft services, find the greasiest thing you can find, then start your scene.
Well, if she's into grease, then she's gotta. I'm in. I'm born to play this part.
The pap grease.
The pap grease.
This just struck me, though. I feel like Paul Rudd is kind of like the reincarnation of this character. Like, he would play this. Like, Paul Rudd could rub a woman's face, and right now, we'd be like, okay, that's not that bad. But in 30 years, when they watched it, they'd be like, why was he rubbing her face for so long?
Yeah, that's true. I could see that.
I mean, but she's loving it. She's, like, flirting with all of these dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, we know what happened in the book. It's just so awkward when they portraying her as this in the movie, I guess, when they've obviously cut that part out.
Yeah, I can't imagine that on ABC.
I got the idea as a kid because I didn't know the book when I saw this miniseries that she was just like kind of a free spirit, you know.
One of them fast girls.
Down to fuck a bunch of guys kind of lady.
You guys, though, I was thinking about it, and two points on this. A, this is a movie where things just happen. So that sex scene just happening, it kind of makes sense. That's first point A. It's pretty weak, I'll admit. The second point is her father and her thoughts on love and like what that's supposed to be are so messed up. And
definitely.
And like what it is is like supposed to be bringing out all those like messed up parts of you, I think it can kind of make sense. I would never write anything like this like Stephen King was able to when this came out, but I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I've been ruminating on that. I'm not standing up for the scene. It's still problematic, but those are some things to maybe think about.
You talking about in the book?
Yeah.
Like the orgy scene?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know it it makes everyone uncomfortable, but to me, it makes sense in the book. It's very weird. But, I mean, I think it's explained very well. Again, 2020, it's different. But, I agree with what you're saying.
In as much anything made sense in the book, right?
I don't know. I think it's a very rich story. I really like the book.
The only way we could get the truth is in a long format forum like Joe Rogan. If Stephen King could go on there and talk about this.
Yeah, we're going to have to do lines with Stephen King and really get down to brass tacks.
Dude, I bet he's got a messed up mind.
Well, Eddie also arrives in Derry, and I'll go through his bit rather quickly because there's not a lot to it. He goes to the drugstore that he used to get his asthma medicine from when he was a kid, and he remembers like the pharmacist, and then he has kind of like a flashback while in Derry. And just one thing that's kind of noteworthy is the verbal exchange is kind of weird.
How old are you now, son?
11, almost 12.
Old enough. Come with me.
Yeah.
Slow down, sir. I'm not that kind of boy.
No, but obviously he meant old enough to know that his mom's a psycho.
Yeah, I got to tell you in the back room where no one can see us.
Would you really do that, though, as an adult? I mean, that would be like some mind-breaking stuff for that kid, and I don't want that kind of heat. It's like, I'm trying to finish up the workday. I'm not going to destroy this kid's worldview of his breathing illness.
Well, this is before
right
that
now.
early 90s, like, McDonald's coffee lawsuit. Like, I don't think lawsuits were just thrown around so haphazardly back then. You could just slap a kid around. It's fine.
Josh, why don't you tell us about Bev's arrival?
This is probably one of the best pranks it pulls. It changes a whole boarded up house in Poor Town to a cozy lair. And it's kind of weird because Bev doesn't know her dad died 5 years ago, which despite their estrangement, it seems like first of kin would be notified somehow. Come on, Stephen King. You're better than that. But she comes up and she like thinks her dad might be there. She rings the doorbell. It's a sweet old lady. All of a sudden this lady's like chugging tea, got blood coming out of her teeth, and like this is a whole like haunted house set up, and Beth has to get the hell out of there.
All just so Pennywise can be like, gotcha, bitch.
It's just a prank, bro.
The old ketchup in the teacup prank. Got her.
I like that the old lady slurps her tea like a disgusting pig. Like, that shit's funny.
Yeah, that's brutal. I hated that.
It was kind of surprising because I thought the old lady would still be an old lady and she'd maybe just get possessed or something like that guy in the pharmacy shop. But no, like this whole thing was in Bev's mind in her old house, I guess.
Well, that old lady turns into her dad as dressed up as the old lady, right? And he's a zombie, sort of.
Yeah, with the old lady hair and dress, yeah. That was like a big part of the advertising for the new It Chapter 2. Remember, Pappy?
Oh, it was.
That was like one of my favorite parts of the new Chapter 2. Like that whole sequence was awesome because you have Pennywise like sneaking around as old lady
doing gymnastics.
That was hilarious. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make me feel anything. It kind of I loved like the look of the man lady chasing after her, but I mean, we've all said this. None of this is scary, right? None of this is very spooky at all. It's just more silly.
And that's okay too.
Is it?
Silly spoilers.
Maybe that was for a different month. I should have picked this one. But our gang they meet up for dinner. They're all together at Chop Suey Chinese Kitchen. When they first meet up, they're kind of like freaking out a little bit, but they decide to, I guess, get drunk first and take action later. Pappy, what did you think about this bit?
Well, I don't know. It's one of those things where They address it once where they're just like being so loud, where the lady comes in and running app, like all the fortune cookies change. But I mean, it's also one of those things too. They're getting fucking hammered, and then like a lot of shit like goes down that night, including like driving Mike to the hospital at one point. And the alcohol doesn't seem to affect them much beyond Richie. But I don't know. There's like a really weird directing choice, I think, in this scene too, where they're like the camera's circling the table and it's like cutting in between all their conversations, and it literally like made me fucking seasick to watch. I hated it so much. Does anyone remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's weird.
It is really disorienting.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't get you actually got motion sickness from this?
For someone who doesn't like Michael Bay movies, Korey, I can't believe like the camera not stopping moving for like 3 straight minutes didn't bother you.
They're also like fading in and out across cuts, and it's like rotating that whole time. So it's like, wow, we're just in a new place rotating, in a new place on the table rotating. It's just really disorienting, I guess.
I was mostly getting hung up on like the Good Time Because It's Alright, Angels in the Outfield montage song. So that's where my mind was at.
It could happen.
Is that the 3rd time we've covered that song?
I love that the waitresses just hate them. The waitresses are just so fed up with how loud they're being and obnoxious.
Side note, does anyone recognize the main waitress from this scene?
Is she from Happy Gilmore?
She is from Happy Gilmore.
Huh?
Hey, you know our breakfast?
She's the Chinese woman
That's her?
Happy Gilmore pity fuck.
I had no idea, by the way. That's just the first thing that came to my mind.
That is her. I looked it up. I verified it.
Terry! And then whatever the song is.
Future spoiler.
And the Nights Go Crazy lady?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Stevie, what did you think of those fortune cookies? They each have a unique surprise.
I don't get this movie,
Things
man.
just happen, Stevie.
Things like, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens.
Flashback, 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 flashback.
I mean, like, once again, I know it's a TV movie, but there are times where, like, I mean, I almost would have rather seen Pennywise, like, doing backflips on top of the table and throwing, like, fried rice at them than watching just an eyeball come out of the cookie and Bill starts stuttering again. Yeah, I did not love this scene. I can't say I was a giant fan of it. Like, does it resonate a lot in the book? Like, am I missing something? Is Bill afraid of eyes?
The Chinese scene's pretty big, yeah.
Yeah, it's big. It's a lot creepier, but not like... I mean, that's not creepy at all. I mean, I was trying to figure out what that little hairy arm thing was coming out of it, but I don't remember. I think they get like messages. I feel like they're getting messages from Pennywise or something. I don't remember.
All of these were Pokemon.
One of them is just like a premature chicken, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a little bird.
Side note, Josh, the Beverly thing, you think it's weird that she wouldn't know that her dad died, but like, remember when they left, they forgot like everything? Like, they didn't even know who people were, or like that they were even from Derry and stuff like that. Like, Bill, I don't know if he says it in the movie, but in the book, he forgot that his brother was murdered.
She's like, how the fuck did I come into existence?
I am alive!
What is
Did I file my taxes last year? What is going on?
Makes sense that way, I guess. That's just my take.
Well, Brett, our gang goes back to their base, and they find out what happened to Stan, because he didn't show up. Brett, you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, Richie gets the award for most inappropriate talking ever. I hope they're not on the same line. He's talking on that phone. Anyway, so they call and they're like, where's Stan? He promised to come.
What does he say? He's like dead to us or something? Like he calls him out for being dead?
He said a bunch of inappropriate things. Yeah. He's like, you better be dead.
Mike Hanlon, is this the Uris residence? I'm trying to get a hold of Stan Uris.
You tell that loser that if he hasn't left already, he's a dead man. We all managed to show up. Boy, that matches your real hair. Has anyone ever told you?
Stan is dead.
So yeah, they call. For some reason, they're like having a good time. and they want to call Stan to like get your butt over here. And then Mike talks to somebody and then hangs up the phone and said,
"Let's go."
Said Stan killed himself.
Mike on the phone. Let's go.
Is that your favorite part?
I live for Mike on the phone. For 3 hours, I live for Mike on the phone or narrating.
Well, it's half the movie.
Yeah?
Bill, this is Mike Hanlon, Bill, from Derry.
When I say let's go, that is the most climactic thing that happens in this movie, is Mike on the phone.
Bill's like, I need to call my publicist. Mike like grabs the phone. Let me make the call.
Let me get it for you, pal.
Dang, you should have given this part to Stevie. He could have made it super exciting. Then they open up the mini fridge because they want to drink some more, and then the balloons come out. And then, like, what, lightning crashes or something? I don't remember what happens.
No, bro's head is inside there.
They talk to Stan's severed head.
Oh, yeah. Stan Uris's head's in there.
That was pretty funny.
Josh, I mean, I agree. It's funny, right? He's being a complete, like, fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's shocking, though, because they're meeting Stan really for the first time now as an adult. And they don't get that moment like, oh, your hair's gray. Oh, like you're chubby now. It's just like, oh, you're a fucking head in a fridge.
Sorry I'm late. Well, let's see who's here. Billy boy. Richie, you still here? We never expected you to stick around. Nice nose job. No one would ever suspect. Haystack. Putting on a little weight, huh? Speaking of dads, Bevy, yours isn't worried about you anymore. He loves your choice in men. Wheezy, how's your sex life? What's your sex life? Well, Mikey, you did it. You got us all back here. I guess it's because it's the only way you'd ever see us. Since you're so lame, you'd never leave this town. I finally made it, guys. I'm in the deadlights now.
You know what? It's true what they say. We all float down here, and you will too. In fact, they all float. They all float.
Did the actor who played Richie really have a nose job? Like, because I was looking at his nose, because he's like calling them all out for specific things. He's like, nice nose job, Richie. I'm like, did that guy really have a nose job?
Harry Anderson? I have no idea. Maybe.
I think that's an interesting point, though, because I think this part kind of accelerates the plot because he holds nothing back. He kind of just throws everything they've been thinking about into their faces, and it's kind of all out in the open, which maybe is like a mistake on its part because that kind of brings the group closer together, maybe, you could argue.
Engaging them at all is a mistake on its part. If he just leaves them alone, they would check out. They were planning on leaving until he did the whole fortune cookie thing.
Well, he wanted revenge on them, I guess. Plus 27 years to marinate that fear would have probably tasted pretty good to him.
He's eating. He's not hungry. He's good. He's got kids.
Audra!
One thing I kind of like is, like, they remember Stan as a young boy, and he used to, like, ward off mummies with, like, his bird book back in the day. That was pretty cool. That mummy looked like shit, though.
Better than the wolf, man.
Korey, don't get down on yourself. I know these guys are ripping it apart right now. I had fun watching it. Thanks for picking it. Just want to say that.
Same. Yes or no's?
Well, we're not quite there yet, because we got to intro Henry Bowers. Mikey, I mean, what's Henry Bowers about? He's up there talking to the moon, right?
Henry Bowers is the kid that his hair turned white in the tunnel in the first half of the movie. And I guess he's been locked up in a mental facility for like this whole time. And I guess he's also like aged 20 years plus everybody because he looks like 60 with white hair.
Yeah.
And he ends up seeing Pennywise's face in the moon. And Pennywise is like, you gotta go kill these kids for me. He like uses his stealth, much like Splinter Cell, and he sneaks into the cabin or whatever everybody's staying at. Doesn't make a peep, and he ends up stabbing Mike, and then that's when Mike ends up going to the hospital. But what's-his-face dies. Bill ends up dying because he stabs himself in the end there.
If this is D&D, Mike is like a regular human with like 2 HP. And This dude gets a stealth roll on him and ends up stabbing himself, basically.
Yeah, he's got a sneak attack bonus.
He gets a crit hit. Mike didn't parry.
What I like about Henry Bowers, a couple things actually. So like he's locked up in a facility, but in this facility the inmates sleep in the hallway.
Yeah,
so
that's
Pretty
weird.
cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that. What is that about? Just overstocked in dairy? Well, that makes sense. Everybody's gone crazy.
We also get the return of Belch, who is like the Pennywise stand-in for Henry. He's like a zombie version of Belch. Henry, totally cool with this, by the way. Not freaked out. Belch gives him the knife that he uses that, Mikey described. But to escape the facility, Belch turns into a dog wearing a clown outfit, which is awesome.
Is it?
And then he attacks the Dean Koontz stand-in.
Is it awesome?
It's funny, dude.
Surprised me.
He looks at the guy and it's a dog, and then the dog's wearing the clown outfit. It's a dog wearing a clown outfit. Come on, man.
I had never seen this before, but the still of like Moon Pennywise was like 90% of the reason I never bothered to watch this. That just looked so fucking stupid out of context. It's kind of funny in context, but it's so dumb.
I mean, it's just a Rottweiler's head. It's not even like a mask or anything. They just put a clown suit on a Rottweiler and had him bark at something.
Like that's an easy task. They just put a clown suit on a Rottweiler.
When you say it like that.
Well, we got to assume it was trained, Josh.
Wish he would just turn into Triumph, the insult dog or something.
That is basically Pennywise. One of the things that happens that I think is pretty cool is when Bev and Ben are alone and she like starts reciting the poem back to him. She realizes that he wrote that Hair is Winter Fire poem and they kiss. And then like Ben looks at himself like in the mirror and he sees he has like clown makeup on.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Classic prank.
Anybody else wish they would have gone further?
Yeah. Yes, Stevie. Let's spice it up a bit.
I thought that there was two missed opportunities in this movie. One, you should have taken Bev, aka Pennywise, to bed and found out there.
Like he's got a white powdery dick.
Beep, beep.
Something. Other missed opportunity was Audra's boss or whatever. That Stanley Tucci was born to play that role. How he didn't get it is beyond me, but I'll leave it at that.
The Tooch?
Yeah, Tucci Gang was born for that role.
Stevie, I'm surprised your number 3 wasn't that Mike had phone sex with somebody or something like that. That's how he got Beverly to come home. He's like, yeah.
That's right, because Audra comes to figure out what's going on with Bill. She comes to Derry, but she's immediately taken by Pennywise.
Like by the Harbinger.
Yeah.
Before she even gets into town. It's a real rough route for her.
Yeah, like does Pennywise have her social media looked up? Like how does he know who this woman is? Just omnipotent presence?
Kind of, yeah. He's from a different dimension.
He's a bug.
No, he's not really a bug. We'll get to that.
For those who have read the book, what are the deadlights?
Oh, I only read like 80% of the book like years ago.
That is his true form.
He's a light?
That's his true form in his other dimension that he came from millions and millions of years ago.
What do the lights do?
They make you brain dead, catatonic, and then that's like a way for him to eat you or just get you out of the way.
It's like his non-physical form.
Huh.
You know what? Sign me up. 2020 sucks. Sign me up for that.
This is one of the parts I like about this, because this being is so kind of like outside of a human concept. I just find it pretty creative.
My first note, Josh, is I can't believe people think this is good. I can't believe you actually like this movie. It is so beyond me. It's so terrible.
Am
like
I playing my cards too straight? Is it so obvious that I fucking love this?
Every time, I really like that part about it. Like the whole it's like there's this whole awkward presence over this whole movie though. This whole cheese and terribleness. Like I guess if you point out the individual parts of story about it, yeah, people love this story for many reasons. But there's this whole cheapness that surrounds the miniseries that ruins every scene.
I want to say a quick thing. So when I was a little kid, I wasn't allowed to see a lot of horror movies, especially if they're rated R. But I saw this one because I was with my grandma and we went to the video store. That's, a place where you used to get movies back in the day.
So fun.
And I saw this movie and I immediately checked the rating, just based on the cover. Tim Curry on the front, Pennywise with the claws. I checked the rating. It says NR, not rated. So I asked my grandma, I said, can I get this? It's not rated R. And I was so fucking pumped to watch this movie that as a little kid, I loved every minute of it just because it was something I wasn't normally allowed to do in a way, but I found a loophole. I was with my grandma. It was not rated. So I felt like I was, watching a grown-up thing. So
Korey is blinded by the nostalgia of getting away with something and loving it. It's like him watching a porno for the first time. He's going to remember it forever.
Korey, don't look into the dead lights.
Hey, Pappy.
Yeah.
Just real quick while you're talking grandparents. My grandpa let me watch Predator and Terminator, but we couldn't watch Purple Rain.
What? Well, I mean, Purple Rain's very explicit sexually, but
yeah, that's true.
This would be a PG movie, though, right? I mean, I get it's probably just not rated because it was a TV movie.
Exactly.
TV, yeah. I'm sure it'd be a PG-13. There's a lot of blood, even if it's fake blood.
Did that exist at this time?
Yeah.
I just relate to Korey's child self because as an adult, it's well documented on this pod. I don't like gore and what I call torture porn. So to be able to watch a horror movie that doesn't have any of that, but does have supernatural elements, it just really, I like that stuff.
Nice. Now I know what to pick for a Josh punishment movie, but nice.
Yeah, I just did 120 Days of Solo, most listened to spoilers episode ever, I might add. But
that can't be listened to more than District B13.
You're right. It's number 2.
Thank you.
Oh. Well, we talked about Mike getting stabbed. He's in the hospital. He gives Bill a secret weapon. He gives him
a phone.
The magic silver from when they were kids.
So stupid.
Can I say something about Mike too, real quick?
Definitely.
Mike is supposed to, they call Mike the lighthouse keeper or something.
How long have we been here?
What?
What? Say you like me lobster.
And they all acknowledge that one, they've become very successful because of the supernatural force. That's explicitly stated. 2, Mike is poor because he had to stay. That's explicitly stated. And 3, he stayed because he had to stay. He was staying for all of them. At no point do any of these multimillionaires, millionaires to multimillionaires, say, hey, here's a check for $25,000. You know what I mean? That's nothing to them. And
they just fucking leave.
They're not all multimillionaires.
A couple of them are, Brett. And the ones who are, okay, but are you saying they shouldn't give him a little bit of money, job. Brett? Is that what you're trying to say?
Ritter could have paid him in burger grease alone.
Oh my God, Brett, you're so staunch.
He even pays for their dinner, to Pappy's point.
Socialism.
He lives in the ghetto. He lives in the ghetto. He gets free food.
What the?
You gotta pay this man for harboring all of their fear for 30 years.
He should just pull himself up by his fucking bootstraps.
Right.
Exactly.
He does own his house. He says that, so he's it's not the worst situation
Oh
for
my
him.
God, that's funny.
Just move, Mike. But I mean, yeah, I just feel like here for just $15,000, a couple, Richie could at least afford that, and Richie's success is directly because Mike stayed back and dealt with it.
When should they have given him money?
When he's in the hospital to pay his bill for the hospital, maybe.
But after the thing, they started forgetting immediately, just about. Convenient for sure.
Very convenient. All the white guys forgot to pay Mike.
Yeah, and Mike wrote it down. He's like, I ain't forgetting this shit.
He narrated it 5 minutes
I
later.
just feel bad for Mike. I guess Brett has no sympathy
Mikey,
for poor Mike. But
Bill might be white, but his mole is definitely a POC.
It's a minority, for sure.
I mean, Pap's right, though, because Bill, Ben, and Richie all could have chipped in and helped Mike retire, and they would have still lived very comfortably.
I agree.
buy him a new house in, what's the capital of Maine? Augusta. Hey, here's a house in Augusta. Here's a little trust fund. Here's some stocks. You're set up for life. Go on with your...
Put him in Bangor.
And Mike keeps that house and uses it for Airbnb.
Bangor's I think, the big city they talk about in the book all the time. So I agree. They could have helped him out. It's not their job, but friends do. You know, they were friends for like a month and a half, so they owe him $1 million. You're right.
I didn't say $1 million.
Jesus Christ. Way to miss the point.
I was too focused on, I don't know, why were they successful? Because they came in contact with Pennywise. Why did that make them successful in life?
Yeah.
Why didn't any of them have kids? That was another throwaway line too. And it was kind of intriguing, but also kind of frustrating because I never came back to that.
That's more in the book. They're all rewarded for what they did, if I remember correctly. Everyone that leaves, for the Pennywise situation, then they leave. They're rewarded by, I don't know if it's by the turtle or
Turtle's
what,
dead at that point.
Except Mike.
But that's the way it is in the book, right, Brett?
Something like that.
They're reaping the rewards of it.
Obviously, Eddie doesn't get rewarded. He's dead.
And for you, Richie Toza, a mithril chainmail. It's what are we talking about? Rewarded? For what? Smacking it in the face with a piece of silver? It's so stupid.
I think you're right. But I don't quite remember that as much. I mean, obviously, Bill gets rewarded because Audra, wakes up a little bit, but...
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, no, I was speaking more to the book.
Wouldn't it make sense if they're rewarded because they learned how to overcome adversity or something more practical, but it's literally the magical turtle rewards them? What happens in this book?
Yeah, there's some magic going on.
The turtle is dead at this point, like I said.
No, but I mean all right, so they're kids, they defeat Pennywise, they leave, Turtle's still around, Turtle hooks them up. They grow up, then Turtle dies.
Turtle from Entourage?
There's the timeline.
Turtle from Entourage.
No, I mean, the turtle is a big part of the book, and people are actually were ticked off. John Ritter, when he signed on, he said, is a turtle going to be in the movie? And the director's like, are you kidding me? How are we going to do that? But yeah, so he's not in the movie. He's the yin to Pennywise's yang. They're both mystical. He actually vomited up the universe they're in.
I could just imagine John Ritter so is there going to be a giant turtle flying through space with rocket legs?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of...
No, John, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Before I rub this woman's face for 4 hours, listen, I got one question. Is there a turtle in this movie?
Pappy, our gang decides to go face Pennywise. They were back and forth on it quite a bit, but Bill leads the way. They go down to his lair. Why don't you tell us about what goes down?
As much as I shit on the cheapness of this movie, I enjoy the look of the interior of the sewers. Actually, it has this kind of, I don't know, kitschy, cool '90s vibe to it. It's all very practical. It looks actually like a really great production design. But they show up, and it's kind of I think Bill has to face his fears first or something, right? He sees his brother, and they all encourage him, and he acknowledges that it's not his brother. And the whole time, Richie's just being a huge bitch. He doesn't want to be there, talking about getting a machine gun and stuff. And I think this is where we find out that Eddie is a virgin. And I have a question: is Eddie? Is he supposed to be gay? Is that what we're supposed to read into it? When they call him girly boy and stuff?
Is
that what they're hinting at?
I don't know what that...
I just don't know why he brought it up. It's like, dude, we're about to go kick this bug's ass. Man up right now.
Well, and then to have him die immediately, it's weird. Like, I don't get what the point of the virgin scene is.
Yeah, it's a throwaway. Like, it's stupid.
Before they go into Pennywise's little, like, fucking Alice in Wonderland door, he says some pretty chilling shit. Like, I actually really like this moment where he, like, appears as, like, a face hologram thing.
Silly boy, you still think you can see me? You'll never see me. You'll see only what your little mind can allow. Go! Now, for if you stay, you'll lose your little mind in my dead lights. Like all the others. Like all the others.
He's like, you don't even have your car.
Yeah, you never had me.
That's a really good point, Brett.
We pay for pink slips in this
I actually
sewer.
like that too, Korey.
No, but it makes it seem like he could be like anything. It makes you think, like, holy shit, he doesn't have to be the clown. They could go in there. This guy can be fucking anything. It can just, like, scare you to death, whatever he is.
He could be a guy with a gun and just shoot them instantly. And then he wouldn't have to deal
Pappy,
with
you were
this.
talking about Bill and he had to face George. I think what is said is he will face 3 challenges. He must face his enemy, he must face himself, and he must face his worst fear. I think Princess Katana told him that.
Chan? Lou.
Okay.
Thank you. I knew Korey at least would like it. And Stevie seemed to like it too, so.
I liked it.
That little door he goes into, it's like decorated for like Halloween. You know, it has like little skulls and like a jack-o'-lantern. Like, it's pretty funny.
Is it?
I do like that it's small. The size of it cracks me up. The Alice in Wonderland description is freaking perfect.
There's no way that bug fits through there, though.
Spider.
Mikey, what do you think of Pennywise's true form?
He looks very crunchy. He looks like a giant lobster with a very ugly face, and he's got claws and stuff. He looks pretty goofy, I guess, but he is scary. And I don't know. He's like animated in a like stop motion way. It looks terrible, but
It's awful. It's supposed to be a spider, and it's like the least scary thing I've ever seen. So
Wait a minute.
Oh, Brett, you weren't scared of it?
No.
Hold the
That's
phone.
good.
It doesn't even pass Brett's main fear, arachnophobia fear.
Wow.
It had like hands coming out of its face. By the way, it's not technically its true form, but you know.
Why is it not its final form? Yeah, like, isn't the spider feeding on these humans and then going to sleep its final form?
Okay, my point was that is the closest form that humans can comprehend in this universe. I told you his true form are those deadlights, but that's like this big spider is the closest thing they can get on in this dimension universe and that the humans can comprehend.
Wait, so I thought it was he didn't pick to be a spider? Like, I thought he picked that to be like extra.
No.
Like, he could have picked any form.
No, that's his true form, and actually in the book he's a female because he's got baby spider eggs all over the place.
Do they burn the crap out of those or something?
Oh yeah, they do. If I remember correctly, yes, they destroy all those.
Nice.
So they face off against Pennywise in his semi-true form, I guess. Eddie tries the old albuterol trick, but like we mentioned earlier, he gets killed, not in a very brutal fashion. Like, you think it's going to be pretty hardcore, because he just got these big spider arms and claws, and he picks him up, and it's like, oh shit, what's he going to do? Rip him in half? Bite his head off? He just kind of like drops him 4 feet, and he dies.
And you're like, oh good, he's still alive, sweet.
It would have been a lot cooler if he did.
Yeah. He gets his arm ripped off in the book, and that's how he dies, so that's a little
I like
cooler.
In my mind, my headcanon is that this kid has been like so born to placebos his whole life, like with that, he just thought he died when he dropped him, so he died.
He wakes up an hour later. He's like, "Where did everybody go?"
He like died in the Matrix, so he dies in real life, basically.
Yeah. But Stevie, what do they do? How do they take him out?
Ugh.
So this is the point of the movie where I would have been okay if it would have gone full straight comedy.
Wait, it wasn't?
It was. Oh my gosh, they...
Yeah, so part of me was really wishing they would have played Rock Lobster during this scene. And they would have had like more of the actors running around. Made it much more Scooby-Doo-like. That, I think, would have been a big hit with the fans. But really, it's just Bev being the single worst shot possible. And this movie makes no sense to me. So, on the third try, because movie, she hits Pennywise with the third stone or whatever, kills it. It gets all shriveled up and tries to retreat. And that's when they become real primal, and all the people just pretty much tear this thing in half. Barehandedly, very savage-like. I'm guessing it was a very cathartic moment.
You don't like this? Like the end of Death Proof.
With Rock Lobster, would have been a 10 out of 10 sequence.
I can get you that edit.
Please do, because I'm telling you, it'll be a big hit.
I'd get you a toe.
But the one shot I did kind of like was when they're just trouncing on this thing. And do they rip out its heart or rip off its head?
His heart that he wouldn't really have? Yeah, that's what they do. I don't know. They rip out something.
Yeah, part of me also thought it was like a little animatronic person controlling it inside, and they ripped that out. But yeah, like the one shot I did like was them ripping it out, whatever it was, and the shadow on the rock, I guess. Probably the best shot of the whole movie.
Agreed.
Bill's face is fucking crazy right before they go to the rock. Like his face as he's lifting the heart out is so absurd.
This is what we play for!
Kalima!
But yeah, they defeat Pennywise, and Bill recovers Audra. Now, Audra is like, she's in like the deadlight state. She's catatonic, I guess. She's like completely not responsive, but she's not dead.
She's living in 2020. She is just tuned out.
She wakes up in 2020, finds out what happened. She's like, I want to go back to catatonic state.
Take me back!
She has seen the future. Pappy, what's going on several weeks later as we start to close out here?
Oh, I bet Pappy loved this scene.
We get the epic Mike voiceover, and they indicate that everyone's starting to forget everything. Ben and Bev elope or leave together, and it says that they get pregnant within a week, or they get married within a week, and get pregnant right after. Richie looks like he goes on to make the worst movie in the history of movies. Something with people getting snowed on and hitting tennis rackets in each other's faces. It's just god awful. Yeah. But the worst of all is to bring back his wife's Audra's memory. Bill takes her on his legendary bike, Hi-Ho Silver.
Jesus Christ.
And he rides out in the middle of traffic, almost getting him killed. But for some reason, even though she has no emotional attachment to this bike or any backstory to Derry or anything whatsoever to his childhood, this is what frees her, I guess, and she's back to normal. And then Pennywise, followed instantly by a Pennywise laugh. Roll credits. It is like one of the worst endings to anything I've ever.
You didn't like seeing Audra on the pegs rolling down a hill?
I was watching it with my fiance. I told her if she gets normal, I'm gonna give this the hardest no I've ever given anything. And I was so disappointed that she.
Pappy, would you have given it the hardest yes ever if they would have gotten hit by a car?
It would have been the hardest yes ever. If they just get decimated by a bus, then you play the Pennywise laugh. Roll credits.
That would have been cool.
That's a movie.
Yeah, like Pennywise is driving the bus, like John Leguizamo.
That would be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Would that be funnier than Sandra Bullock falling down the stairs, Pap?
No, not at all. Crash, feature spoilers pick.
No, not doing it. Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No.
Okay.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
No, you are. What you said was way better than what I was going to say. I promise you. I promise you.
Okay.
I was going to say, like, the turtle is driving the bus. It was going to be bad. Let's just.
That would be funny. That would be funny, though.
A Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Oh, it always comes back to that.
It's Casey Jones, and he goes, oops.
Whoops.
And that's why Pappy doesn't get this shit.
290s.
Whenever I think of the turtle, I think of Gamera. Am I alone in that?
Who's that?
You don't know Gamera?
Gamora?
All right, never mind. He's a kaiju, you know, like there's like Godzilla and like Ultraman and Gamera.
He had did he have like drills for arms? Is that him?
No, that's a different guy.
That's Mothra. I'm just kidding.
Gamera's a turtle that flies with like rocket legs.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have an Instagram post dedicated to that.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's the It miniseries. Does anyone have anything of note, anything they want to bring up before yes or no's?
Richie was my least favorite character. He sucks. I hate him. Really wish he would have died.
Young or old?
Both.
No, you have to pick one.
Old. I hated that whole phone scene. He's so annoying. And all of his career is a joke. I mean, he's not really famous. He's got to be a joke in Hollywood. I hate him.
Maybe we can end it on a Stevie question. Stevie, what is the plot of that movie that he's making at the end of this thing?
It's a Goofy movie, the human version.
Nigel Thornberry.
Ugh.
Nigel Thornberry?
That was smashing.
Oh, Nigel Thornberry biopic would be so awesome if Richie was playing that, but I can't even tell you what that movie was, or even really what this movie is, because things just happen. So the best bet I can give of what Richie and they're doing in that movie, I kind of like Brett's answer, the human version of the Goofy movie. I like that.
When I see him holding that tennis racket, I think of Goofy holding a tennis racket.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, well, let's do yes or no's. I'm going to go first, and then we'll go west to east. I am going to give this the softest of yeses.
No.
The softest yes I can probably give a movie. I know it's not a good movie, so I just want to get that out of the way. Like, it's not because this is a movie that I would show other people and say, watch this good film. It's because I've like seen it so many times and it reminds me of my grandma, which is like something, you know, that moves me quite a bit. And it's for those reasons that it has some meaning to me. Aside from like the meaning it has for me, it's also like kind of funny, and Tim Curry is just fucking crazy and funny. He's insane. Mostly bad, but I have some connection to it that's just gonna barely have it hang on for me. So that's mine.
This is a pretty hard no. Like I said earlier, probably the hardest of no's. Mostly because, like I said, I read 80% of the book a couple years ago. I thought it was okay. Like, I was on a business trip and I actually just like plowed through it. But then by the time I got home, I just wasn't like into picking it back up. But that was cool. The movies are alright. By this point, I don't know if it's just like it fatigue for me, or like the past few years, like we've been doing it stuff, you know. And I feel like I've heard this story so many times now that I'm just not like into it anymore. And this is by far like the worst adaptation of the story. So it's like, not only is it a story I'm kind of burnt out on, it's like this is like the worst one. If you're an It fan, it's probably worth it to see like all the different like forms the story is taken, but I can't recommend someone spending 3 hours to watch a TV movie from the early 90s. Best part, by far, Tim Curry. I don't think I've ever seen Tim Curry be bad in anything, but this is not something I would watch. Watch Muppet Treasure Island instead of Stephen King. But
or Legend.
This is a no. I would rather watch Legend.
Or Three Musketeers.
I give you the black dot.
The black spot! Yeah. But no, this is a no.
All right, I'll go. It's a definite no, but I mean, just looking at the movie poster is more intriguing and scary than the entire movie, which is kind of why I haven't watched it as a kid is because the movie poster was so scary. But now it's just when you're actually in it and you're watching it for 3 hours, it's so boring and just uneventful, I guess. But Tim Curry is definitely the best part of it. But I agree with Pap that just the fatigue of it being in the zeitgeist for like the last 4 years or however. Yeah, we've heard this story like a million times or versions of it so many times now. So it's like, I don't know. If you start thinking about it too long, it's like such a stupid story, but I guess it works as a book. So I don't know. I just hated the movie, Korey. I don't think I've ever said yes to any of your movies. And it's not going to happen here. So it's a hard no.
Fast and Furious.
It's a tale as old as time, according to Mikey.
This is Josh from Goshen. I honestly wasn't playing throughout the pod. I really enjoyed watching this. And part of it is almost like I was an English major in college, and this is almost like a book I had to read, didn't want to read, and then I'm like, wow, like I got something from that. And I've missed the recent iterations of it because I am so not opposed, but just like I'm not into the horror scene. Like I know Heredity is probably like a great movie, but I'm just not gonna watch it for a while. Like that's just me. So seeing a horror movie that I kind of had to watch for a pod that didn't include a lot of gore, I don't know, there's just a lot that I did enjoy from it, including the "it's not my fault" scene, like that seems like Good Will Hunting kind of stole from when who's the main character, like his younger brother died and he has to look it in the face and he's like, "It's not my fault, it's not my fault," and it goes away for a while. That part was great. The part on the bike at the end, Hi Ho Silver, actually worked for me, Pappy. I can't explain it. I didn't interrupt you earlier when you were like trashing it because I have no real good arguments, but it just kind of worked for me for some reason. The fade outs that they had in this version of watching that were like a throwback to classic TV movies were like a nostalgia in and of itself that I enjoyed. And ultimately the story is like a story of cryptozoology about this like creature that lives amongst us that we can't explain or really find out about or really nail down. I just think it's really creative. I haven't really seen or heard a story quite like this. So it truly is a non-ironic hard yes.
Are you insane?
Loved it.
I know it's not like classic cinema, like buttoned up class film. I just liked it.
Good for you. People should be allowed to like whatever
Stevie.
they want. So good for you, Josh. This is Stevie from Elkhart. This is the hardest of no's I can give. I was so bored out of my mind for 3 straight hours. I'm sorry, Korey. Typically, I like your taste in films. This is not one of them. Yeah, I just did not dig it. I think if you want to see like an actual like clean adaptation of it, I mean, the new It's are pretty good, even though the second one does falter. But it did give me an idea. I think if you adapted the entire book into something, and it could also be interesting, I think turning the entire novel of It into a Japanese anime really works.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you had actual Japanese animation with Japanese voiceovers, It the anime would work so easily. So that I think is something that either Netflix or someone who's producing anime should look at. But as far as this movie goes, as much as I love Tim Curry as Long John Silver, or, you know, as pretty much the devil in Legend, I can't give this movie a yes. So this will be a hard no for me.
I feel like we'll see that It anime in our lifetime.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do hope so, because I think it works.
Such a good idea.
Let's write it. Spoilers Presents. We'll just have to get permission. I'll make this quick. I love the lore of It. I love Pennywise's character. He's one of my favorite literary characters. I'm gonna give this movie a soft yes. It is pretty boring. It's not very good. It's not very good at all. Like I said, I made the joke earlier in this pod that my wife said, "Oh, great, the most boring movie ever," and she's not that far off. It's literally just flashbacks and flashbacks and flashbacks. But Tim Curry's awesome. I love the story. The execution's pretty bad. They had a terrible budget. The ending of the first part of the kids and as the adults in this movie is like an abomination of what happens in the book, and that was really hard for me to deal with. You go from some crazy ritual where they fight mentally with Pennywise to beating him with fists and ripping a heart out. I mean, it's brutal, but I'll give it a soft yes, and yeah, that's all I got.
It sounds like you want to give it a no, Brett.
No, I'm giving it a yes.
We're split right down the middle.
As much as I hated the movie, it was an epic way to kick off Spooky Spoilers 2020. Literally a 3-hour TV movie epic. It's pretty cool, Korey. It's ambitious. I'm glad you picked it.
It's gonna be a fun edit.
Oh, and it's better than Evil Dead 2. I meant to say that.
Well, we're not done yet. I hope you guys are ready for trivia. This is Poor Man's Jeopardy! Now, you guys have played this before, but for the listeners at home, it's fairly similar to Jeopardy!
TM.
There's a board, and on the board, there are 5 categories. Each category has 3 clues with ascending point values. The higher the point value, the more difficult the clue will be. Anyway, each player is going to go through them one at a time, choose their category, choose their point value. If they get it right, they get the points. If they get it wrong, they get negative points. The players can't pass and must respond in the form of a question, like in Jeopardy! Right, Stevie?
Dude, that's such a lie. I got that answer. But alright, whatever.
I recall Josh getting the answer.
Uh-huh.
Also, as a side note for the listeners, the winner gets to choose the next movie we do, and they're going to host that episode. So if you're a first-time listener to this podcast, don't worry, you don't always have to deal with me as much. We rotate hosts based on the trivia wins.
If I win, I'll give you a hint to what I'm going to pick.
Oh.
Righty then.
Nobody cares, Josh.
That's not spooky.
It's got to be a... Hope it's a spooky movie.
Are you saying Ace Ventura isn't a deranged psychopath?
I'm just joking. I'm not going to win. Let's go.
And here are the categories. Brett's, Josh's, Mikey's, Jordan's, and our last category, Steve's, Stevie's, and Steven's.
No Pappy category.
Now, I have the order up, and Pappy, I'm sorry, but I could not think of 3 clues with Pappy involved.
Okay. Son-in-law, future spoilers pick.
I went to Jordan.
You know, he's got a real name.
So, also for the listeners at home, the order is Brett, Mikey, Josh, Stevie, and Pappy. But these guys already know that. Brett, you're up. Take it over.
I'll take Brett's for 2.
This Canadian-born professional wrestler went by the nickname Hitman for most of his career.
Who is Bret the Hitman Hart?
That is correct. Well done, Brett. You know your Bretts.
Well played.
Yep. His name's spelled with 1 T, though.
I know. Spelling, not relevant.
Okay.
Gosh, Brett. Trying to look for bonus points here.
Kinda.
My turn?
Yep.
Mikey for 2.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey, is a famous quote from a 70s TV commercial for this brand of cereal.
What is Kix?
Oof, I'm sorry, Mikey, that is incorrect.
Ugh.
What is life?
That's deep question, Korey.
So deep.
Life kicks me in the nuts once again.
Kicks are for kids. Or is that tricks are for kids?
What is life?
I think tricks are for kids.
I'll go Brett's for 1.
Oh.
Answer? Daily Double. This famous athlete cameoed in the 1998 Ben Stiller comedy There's Something About Mary.
Who is Brett Favre?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I don't know the correct pronunciation.
Favre.
But yes.
I don't know. It's Favre.
Corey's not a football guy. You made that clear earlier in the pod.
He doesn't like sports games.
So, Josh, you get 2 points for that 1 pointer.
Great.
That's your one daily double.
Let's go.
My turn? Ooh. Let's go.
That's for 3.
Let's go. Josh's for 3.
Ooh.
Tom Hanks plays this character in the 1988 comedy Big. No relation to the Ice Cream Man.
Who is Josh Baskin?
Very good, Stevie. That is exactly correct.
Nice.
Never would have got that.
Me neither.
Tom Hanks would be a great Josh. He fits right in.
Give me Jordans for 1.
Writer and director of the 2017 film Get Out.
Who is Jordan Peele?
That is correct. Now, just a quick update for the players at home. Stevie is in the lead with 3. Brett and Josh have 2. Pappy has 1. Mikey's on -2, but he's still in the game.
Are we not playing golf? Because I'm crushing it right now.
All right, I'll take Josh's for 2.
Josh Gad provides the voice of this frosty Disney character.
Who is Olaf?
That is correct.
Oh, doesn't need his last name.
It's Bjorgensen.
Snowman.
Both acceptable answers.
Now, to dig myself deeper in the hole or to try to win this?
You can also strategically influence the outcome, even if you don't feel you're necessarily going to win.
Oh, I know.
Like Josh last time.
Let's do Jordan's for 2.
Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, was played by this actor in the 2015 film Fantastic Four.
Who is Michael B. Jordan?
Exactamundo.
Nice.
Never watched it, though.
Nobody did.
It is awful.
Heard it was terrible.
Gotta remember to do a big dumb movie on that one.
For spooky spoilers, in trivia, I'm looking more to look smart than to win. I'm going to go Mikey's for 1.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I want to get all my questions right. I don't care if I lose or win.
Oh.
He played little brother Mikey in the 1985 classic, The Goonies.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, much about the Goonies at all.
You know this, Josh.
Well, okay.
No table talk.
Literally the only Goonies character I know is Rudy, I think the actor I would name. So I'll just say, what is a Sean Astin?
Interesting choice of words, but that is correct.
I hate Josh.
So do I.
What does
Dude,
that mean?
I haven't seen Goonies since I was 3, so.
Very good.
My turn?
Stevie, you're up.
Let's go Stevie's, and Stevens for Trace.
Oh, big
The
money.
category everyone's been avoiding.
Big risk.
In this movie, Steve Carell played the father of Timothy Chalamet's character, Nick Sheff, a young man suffering from addiction.
What is Beautiful Boy?
Wow.
Boom.
Nice, Stevie.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Forgot about
Well
that movie.
done.
Which one of these names do I think I know the best? Brett, Mikey, or Jordan? Give me Mikey's for 3.
Oh, you're gonna love this, Pappy.
Good.
According to the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song,
God damn it.
Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a blank.
That is tough.
What is a dude?
No.
I'm sorry, that is close, but is incorrect.
Party dude.
What is a party dude?
I just got dude from Rude.
Such a good guess.
God
Dude,
damn
my
it.
face is so red from waiting for you to answer that question.
Josh, you want to say it?
Yeah.
It's a party dude. All right, so for a quick update, the listeners at home, there's one more pass. Each player is going to get to choose one more time. Stevie's in the lead with 6. Brett's right behind him with 4. Josh has 3. Mikey's at 0. Pappy's at -2. And Brett is up first. Go ahead.
I gotta go big or go home. I'll go Brett's for 3.
Brett Ratner directed X-Men: The Last Stand, when this director dropped out after directing the first 2 films in the X-Men franchise.
Can you repeat the question?
Brett Ratner directed X-Men: The Last Stand, when this director dropped out after directing the first 2 films in the X-Men franchise.
This is a guess. Who is Bryan Singer?
Good guess. That is correct.
Bryan Singer is just the first name that pops into Brett's brain when he thinks of directors.
Fun fact in this category of Brett's, and the name was Brian.
Brian is my brother's name.
Listener to the pod.
Right, I knew that.
Friend
I
of the
tied it
pod.
in.
Hey, Brian.
I'm gonna keep it interesting. It looks like Stevie could make a play. I'll just go Stevens for 1.
Are you trying to help him or hurt him?
I mean, he could go for 2 either way. Doesn't matter.
He could literally make it so he can't win.
He can also go for 2.
I'm saying somebody else could do. Never mind. Just go.
Mikey. Released in 1981, Belladonna was the name of this singer's first solo album.
Who's Stevie Nicks?
Well done. That is correct.
Wow. Right. I'm gonna get screwed
Man, I was
in this game.
hoping for this opportunity
again.
Josh is for 1 in the last round. Let's go.
Are you not trying to win again?
I can get 6.
He can't win.
I can't win.
Yeah, he can.
You literally can't win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
he
right.
can. He's got bonus points.
Josh, chaotic neutral.
Yeah, he's got bonus points.
He used his 1 daily double already. It's done.
He didn't get the
That was just random.
bonus
What
earlier.
about the Austin Powers points?
Do we get to choose that?
And Stevie should lose points.
Josh got the daily double bonus when we did the first half of the podcast. All that did was give him double the points on his first pick question.
Whoa!
Oh, so I could be running it right
I
now.
would have picked a different question if I knew that was the bonus. Did you say that?
I did.
Dang it. I forgot that when I took a pee between our breaks.
That's all right.
Yeah. Josh is for 1.
He played Big Brother Brand in the 1985 classic, The Goonies.
What? I don't know. Who is Josh Hartnett?
You serious? Brolin, bro.
I have no idea.
Josh
I
Brolin.
told you I haven't seen Goonies since I was 3.
Bro, that's Brolin.
That is incorrect.
Picture me Brolin.
Everyone else here knows, Josh.
I've seen Goonies one time.
Stevie, just as a quick update for the audience in case they forgot, Brett's at 7. He's in the lead. Stevie's at 6. So Stevie might win trivia if he gets this next one right.
If this is a 1-point question, why didn't you say that he was like in the end game or something in Infinity War? Why does it go back to Goonies?
I don't think you would have known it then.
Josh, you're not gonna win, all right?
I wanted to get
on,
3
man.
questions right, and I missed number 1, Josh. It's bullcrap. It's the hardest question on the board.
Oh, I'm so nervous, but I feel like it'd be too vain of me to take Stevie's, and
What?
Steven's. So let's go with Jordan's for 3. Let's make it all 3s.
Wow.
I almost kind of want you to win for being ballsy like that, Stevie.
I feel like my vanity would be the end of me.
I would not have done that, Stevie, but you are a brave man. Here it is. Michael Jordan appeared in the music video for this Michael Jackson song.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Here did I. It's not bad. I know that. I think I know. I'm not going to get it right or I'm going to sound so dumb when I say it. I think it was a song called Jam?
Jam.
Is that your final answer?
What is the song Jam?
Oh, there you go.
There is no the
That
song
is correct.
Jam.
Let's go!
Nice.
Wow.
Let's go!
I mean, it's easy, but
Stevie, you
no
have
big deal.
definitely won Poor Man's Jeopardy today, but there is one up left. Pappy, do you want to try it?
Yeah, give
just
it to
for
me.
fun.
Stevie's for 2.
Steven Spielberg directed this 2016 film based on a Roald Dahl book.
BFG. What is BFG?
Boom, you got it.
That'd have been way easier if I just would have picked that one.
Broke even.
Big effing giant.
No one was in the negatives. Well done, guys. Stevie won with 9 points.
Getting better.
Man, call him Korey from the outside.
We're going to toss the spoiler man for a quick sec, and we're going to come back and find out what spooky movie Stevie wants to do. What you got to say, spoiler man?
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07.
Thank you very much, spoiler man. That was awesome. Before we go into Stevie's pick, Pappy has a quick announcement.
Been trying to get these out on some of the Lovecraft episodes, but just a heads up, there's a very good chance, probably by the 1st of next year, that a lot of the old spoilers are just going to disappear from the feed that you're listening on. Like old meaning like pre 200 probably. So 2 things. One, if you want to listen to them, I would do that now because you might not be able to for free later. 2, we're probably going to have some kind of a Patreon paywall, like you can request episodes and get access to our archives and some bonus stuff. So if you have anything like in mind as a listener that you think would be fair, let us know. We're definitely like interested. Like, what do you think would be fair to like commission an episode or to access that content? But just a heads up, that might be going away. So if you really want to listen to Time Bandits, now's your chance. Get on it.
A classic episode.
The big money driver.
Quick, learn our references.
Right.
Such a funny episode.
Awesome. Now, Stevie, I'm going to send it over to you. What you got?
This is going to come as a surprise to everybody and myself. I'm actually going to take a play out of Josh's playbook. He mentioned it during the pod, and it's one of my favorite movies.
Holy shit.
Across all film, including horrors. My favorite movie of all 2018.
Ace Ventura 2?
I'm out.
We're going to be spoiling Hereditary. That, I think, is just a masterclass in horror, and I really hope that Brett and Josh do watch it, because it's just so phenomenally directed and acted. It's a masterpiece. Let's spoil Hereditary.
Love it.
There's no spiders in it, Brett.
I
really wanted to watch The Collectible.
Can't do ghosts.
Whatever the second movie was.
The Collection, right?
The Collection, I believe.
So I have 2 hours of torture between now and our next podcast recording.
Yep.
Awesome. I love that movie. I look forward to seeing it again. I only saw it the one time in theaters, but I had very fond memories of it.
At the time, I'll say it was the scariest movie I'd ever seen in my life. So,
But you should
cannot
watch
wait
it,
to spoil
Brett. You should watch it, Brett. It's not scary.
It's so terrifying.
I had a really bad in-theater experience. People were being super obnoxious during that movie. At the end, there's a big reveal, and some guy in the audience goes, "Really?" Fucking hated it. I was so mad.
That happened to me in Us. I about wanted to scream. It was the worst.
Well, that was the It miniseries, the one that we've been referring to a movie for several hours. Thank you very much for listening. I think that wraps up this episode. Take it away, Spoiler Man.
Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
If you try to fight us, you'll die. If you try, you'll die. If you try to fight us, Beverly, you'll die. If you try, you'll die. If you try, die. If you try, die. If you try.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Says tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday. Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You call now.
I'll call now.
Now's the time to save on Sears installed central air conditioning. Get 0% finance charge, no billing, and no payments until August with the Sears Charge Home Improvement Plan. Call now for a free in-home estimate on a Kenmore air conditioning system. State-of-the-art engineering means greater energy efficiency. A new Kenmore could save 10 to 44% on your annual cooling costs. In time, even pay for itself. Sears also offers fast emergency installation, a 5-year warranty on parts and labor, plus our satisfaction guarantee. And you know Sears will be there to back it up. Get 0% finance charge, no billing, no payments until August. Offer ends May 31st, so call now and save with Sears.
So what's the paper say about tomorrow?
Another scorcher.
Cool.
The starting price that we're given for these puppies, like our low one, our cheapest one's gonna be like $2,000.
Jeez.
Like we might be able to sell the brown ones for like $3,500.
That's awesome. You're not going to keep any?
Oh God, no. Definitely not.
Wow, man, that's a lot of money for a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's one, if you look online, there's one that's got like 3 colors on it. It's over $6,000.
I saw some like lost dog in the valley when I was driving home today.
I bet that did not cost $6,000.
It was like so cute, and like I was like, man, I gotta get home, but like this dog just like confused, wandering the alleys of like fucking Canoga Park.
So basically, it's probably dead now because you didn't save it.
Was it tiny?
It was pretty small.
It's dead.
It was eaten by a crackhead.
An eagle picked it up.
Korey, where do you live now?
Simi Valley, but I work in Canoga Park.
He can send you a video of Simi Valley if you want.
I love that video, but do you ever watch the real boys of Simi Valley?
No. What?
It is one of the funniest shows I have ever seen.
It's a TV show?
What?
It's like a YouTube, like Facebook show. Do you guys remember the guy who's like, who did American Vandal?
No.
He's like the bro from American Vandal, where he does this show. It's called The Real Boys of Simi Valley. And it's
Korey's going to watch every episode before he goes to bed tonight.
I'm going to see who I know.
So damn funny.
You're like, oh, it's Tommy.
See who's in the local AA meetings. I found on YouTube The Real Bros.
Yeah, the
Simi
Real
Valley.
Bros. Yeah, the Real Bros of Simi Valley.
It's known to be like that kind of town, like a bro. It's less so now, I think. Now it's just like, it's like
Korey.
the conservative area of Southern California.
Based on the picture, approximately what street are they on?
Hey, Pappy or maybe Stevie.
What's up?
I saw something. I came across something today that I have a hard time believing. Korey knows what I'm talking about. Somebody asked the question, name a movie that was filmed in your hometown. So I typed in movies filmed in
Lonesome
Elkhart,
Jim.
and Con Air came up.
What?
But I can't find that anywhere else. But if you look on IMDb, I believe Goshen and Elkhart are both listed as locations.
What?
I didn't know if anyone
Maybe
confirmed
the
or denied
airport?
that. The airport was in like Oklahoma or something like that. I don't remember. But I was like, yo, Lonesome Jim I've
that would
seen. That's
be
Goshen.
Crazy. Well, what's that?
What?
God, Steve Buscemi one.
Lonesome Jim. That's in Goshen, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw another one that kind of sounds interesting. It was filmed in Elkhart and Goshen.
Elkhart, Indiana. What the fuck?
Have you actually heard Anna Kendrick's?
I don't believe
Anna
this.
Kendrick made a quote about Goshen. She filmed the movie in Goshen, and
What'd she
talks
say?
about. She basically makes it seem like it's a podunk town. She said even the Walmart has places to tie up your buggies. Like,
That's not a lie.
I'll find it. Yeah,
So she
filmed
was
the
on
location.
the far side of Goshen then.
They asked her a question, the weirdest place you've ever filmed, and she said Goshen, Indiana. Or the weirdest place you've ever
they filmed
been.
in Goshen.
Well, Lonesome Jim, but
Yeah.
Pitch Perfect.
okay, here it is. Well, Sandcastles is one.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Elsewhere, 2009, she said there was a pretty strong Amish community to the point where the Walmart had stables for horses. That was definitely interesting, navigating roads
Holy
with horses
shit,
and
really?
buggies. There was one bar that we could go to, Constant Spring, at the end of the night. It was a really small community, and
Oh,
it felt
man.
like that movie, State in Maine, where we completely took over the town. By the end, everybody knew who we were because we were one of the people working the movie. Everybody else knew each other.
What movie was it that she shot?
It's called Elsewhere from 2009.
Who is
actually
it?
kind of sounds interesting. Anna
Dude,
Kendrick.
can you imagine running into Anna Kendrick at
Oh,
Constant Spring?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
God, dude.
Immediately
Dude, it sounds
busting
pretty,
out all of the moves.
it sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, only shot in Goshen. $500,000 budget. Let's see here.
I'm skeptical of the Con Air Elkhart.
Oh, me too. Me too. That's why.
I'm real.
That's why I asked you.
I'm positive it happened.
Like it was probably like one of like this quick cut scene they could barely use any footage of.
Well, again, Steve Buscemi was in it, and maybe that's where he like. No, he didn't write the script. Never mind.
Yeah, when would that even be? In the
But when they were filming Con Air,
like when in the movie, what would they possibly used
when
Elkhart
Nick
and
Cage was
Goshen
killing
for?
a guy in the rain, I don't know.
Could they have been on State Road 6, like crossing the country, and then they just kind of happened to drive by Goshen or 33 or something, and they're like, this is kind of cool.
Watching
They had to take a piss while they were driving through Goshen. Like, we could knock out a scene.
It's definitely possible, but I mean, I don't believe it either. I didn't see it anywhere else, but
Why would
Never heard that.
that's such a random town to say though? In that fact,
Like, how are those updated? Can someone? Is this not like Wikipedia? Is it?
Yeah. Some
I added it.
IMDb's. Yeah.
I edited some trivia for Kyle McVeigh one time, and he didn't like it. And he was like, dude, who put this on there? I was like, I don't know, dude. What's it say? It was like, he was called by Ralphie in college because he looked like the kid from Christmas Story.
That's awesome.
He's like, I'm not mad about it. I just want to know who put it.
All right, let me get a drink real quick and I'll be ready to go.
All right. Is Josh done? Oh,
Not yet. Josh! I tried to add him.
I thought I heard him say, what the hell, when I was talking about Goshen, so.
I thought I heard him too.
Didn't he just say what?
It sounded just like him.
That was me.
It miniseries.
We got a weird recording situation right now, guys. Okay. Can anybody hear the fan that's running?
It doesn't matter if we can hear it. Suck,
Sorry.
Josh.
It doesn't matter.
Up the movie.
It only matters. It's not bad enough that it's like distracting. As long as it's not on your final track, though. That's like the main. Like when you do your testing.
I mean, I know I'm gonna get some whistles and cat calls here, but I'm recording in bed. Brittany's over trying to go to sleep. She got 2 hours of sleep last night, so it's just kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh yeah, I can hear it.
Turn it down. Okay, so I'll turn it down.
Is George on?
Is it gonna make noise on the mic?
I don't know. You tell me.
Is my microphone working on this track? Yes, it is.
Oh, I mean, what you can do is like record and then just see if it's picking it
My
up.
microphone working on this track. Mic check. Mic
Let's
check.
drop some sick beats for the hijack.
It's negligible, but it's definitely making
Is it continuous or is it little bits of noise?
bits of noise.
That's harder to edit out.
Hold on.
I'll just turn it off. I'll turn it down.
If it's continuous, I can like filter it out.
Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Mic
Where's-
check. With
is
the
Josh
1,
here?
2, 3.
Still not here, huh? Waiting on Josh.
He joined us.
Oh.
All he is Josh in the wind.
Sorry, Bulldog. Brittany took a 7-hour Zoom class today and a quiz while helping birth puppies. Like,
I'm back.
Rough.
she was sitting in that filth, just taking a Zoom class, learning about reproduction. No joke.
Hands on.
Ironic.
Check.
Check.
Mic check. Mic check.
Check.
So I'm gonna, I guess, like play it off like it was a short break.
Yeah.
When someone's listening to the full track, they're not gonna know any difference, you know. So there's no point doing intros again. It would just make it sound weird.
West to east.
If you guys have anything, like any points about any sections I'm talking about, you can totally jump in at any time. Like you don't have to necessarily wait for me to toss to you, although I probably will. But yeah, if you have something to say, feel free to jump in because, you know, I can make things work in post.
Okay.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
It's such a good movie. I have a lot to say.
One of my favorite quotes ever was you, Pappy saying, but it's 10 times as funny, or 10 times funnier.
Yeah, that was Korey.
Yeah.
Somebody. Oh yeah, but yeah, Josh said it's 10 times worse movie ever, and you're like, but it's 10 times as funny. Yeah.
Mikey said that.
Part 2 is really why I wanted to talk about this one, because part 2 there's like so much stupid shit.
Yeah, like the way they kill him is like brutal.
All right.
Yeah,
Save it for the pod.
Can you guys hear me? Am I good to go?
Yeah. You're good. You're loud and clear,
Sometimes-
Josh.
Okay,
You
sometimes
sound
my
perfect.
Skype is low. I'm all ready to go, boys.
I'm ready.
Brett, keep an eye on your track. You know it's gonna stop.
Oh yeah.
Watch it.
All right.
No, I'm just trying to actually be helpful. My bad.
No, I wasn't. I was like,
I know what you meant. I
stay
didn't
on
think it-
target, like that.
No, I knew what you
Steady.
meant.
Jar Jar.
Hold.
Can I count?
Yeah.
Seal the gate!
Oh, the toes!
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
That was Spoilers.